And that means that the weekend is just around the corner. A good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host for today, Ayura Awuno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV. And you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us on social media, particularly on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages, and then join in the Koko Digest Morning Show live stream. You can also send your comments to the live streams or to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed subsequently onto your screens. Now, here's what to expect on the Koko Digest Morning Show. As we know, today is all about the finance minister's mid-year budget review. So yes, the conversations are going to be centered around that. The business segment will be taking us through conversations about our expectations, implications, and everything relating to the budget review. That's going to be displayed or televised, at 2 p.m. So let's stay tuned for that also. And then on the lifestyle segment, we're going to be spending time with a musician. So let's prepare for that. I won't mention the musician's name. Let's get ready for the surprise. For now, let's take our motivational quote for today. So our motivational quote for today is coming to us by Muhammad Ali, and he says, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And it just goes to say that service to others is one of the most meaningful ways we honor the gift of life. While achievements, wealth, recognition may bring us temporary satisfaction, they are not what ultimately define our impact. Now, every act of kindness, whether offering encouragement, sharing knowledge, helping someone in need, or simply being present for another person, leaves a lasting mark. Muhammad Ali's words remind us that our time on earth carries a responsibility to make life better for those around us. Serving others does not always require grand gestures or extraordinary resources. Often, the greatest difference is made through consistent compassion, integrity, and generosity in the everyday life. Now, when we choose to use our talents and opportunities to uplift others, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can see. And in the end, the measure of a life well lived is not only in what we accomplish for ourselves, but also how many lives were enriched because we were here, or by us as we were here on earth. So this is the quote for today. Muhammad Ali is telling us, service to others is the rent that we pay for a room here on earth. So this is something to ponder upon as the weekend approaches. Let's think about how much service we are also rendering to our neighbors, being our brother's keeper, showing brotherly love, letting brotherly love lead as well. Up next is the weather report by Peter Nsia, and then we get our word for the day and then talk about the trending issues. Do stay tuned. welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for us to take our weather report. And it seems that nature has been favorable to us, in the past few weeks, as after the last tragic flood issue, we haven't had any heavy rainfall, and we are most grateful. So I'll hand over to Peter so that he can tell us what to expect. Maybe I've jinxed it, maybe not. So Peter, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, our cherished viewers, and thank you for always choosing the best, the Koko Digest Morning Show. And as usual, I stand for the weather reports, and this is from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Today we have a video for you. Let's take a look at the video. When we come back, I'll give you the specifics as well. Agency, it was divided actually into four: the forest zone, the coastal zone, the transition zone, and the northern zone. And so it looks as though today, from the report, just so the northern sector, the whole of the northern sector, GMET says there's 30 to 60% chance of rain and thunderstorm. And as I like to do it here in Accra, Aflao, and Loga, this morning, it is, GMET says we should expect slight rain. That is 30% chance of slight rain. But Kaswa will be mostly cloudy this morning. And then this morning, the temperature ranges from 24 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. And then in the afternoon, the temperature ranges from 28 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. And in the afternoon, GMET says Accra and the people of Kaswa, it is going to be sunny. You're going to experience sunny intervals as well. And then in the evening, it is going to be mostly cloudy. And then for the northern region this afternoon, it is going to be cloudy as well. And then in the evening, from the people of Bolgatanga, Nerugua, and Jirapa, GMET says you expect 30% chance of rain and thunderstorm. And for the temperature for the evening, it ranges from 25 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. And the state of the sea today is rough. And basically, Ira, that is it for the weather report today.
All right, thank you so much. So let's take note for the weather report, and then let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take our word for the day and then get into the trending issues. You're welcome back to the Koko Morning Show, and we're about to take our word for the day. And before we also get into our online trends, we'll be getting acquainted with my co-host as well. Bevelyn and Peter are here with me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I hope you're well. I'm very grateful.
Divine selection. I was waiting for her to actually start because
We are blessed. It's another opportunity for us to,
right our wrongs. Beautiful. So the word for today is perspicacious. The word for today is perspicacious. And it just means having a sharp ability to notice, understand, and judge things accurately. So when you have a keen ability to notice, understand, and judge things accurately, a perspicacious person quickly grasps the deeper meaning of situations and often sees details or patterns that others tend to miss. So there are some words that are very similar in meaning to the word perspicacious. We have perceptive, insightful, astute, observant, discerning, shrewd, sharp, sagacious, penetrating, and clear-sighted. Then there are some words that are also opposite in meaning to the word perspicacious, and we have unperceptive, oblivious, obtuse, inattentive, naive, gullible, unobservant, myopic, dense, and indiscerning. So these are the words that are opposite in meaning to the word perspicacious. And we may not have heard it. I also came across it just, after we got it. And it seems to be something that is not so far away from us. And so the memory tip for today's word is that to think of a perspicacious person, you have to see the person as someone who can see through confusion and recognize what others may overlook. So they have a sharp insight and sound judgment. So there may be a perspicacious person around you. So you get to use that word on them. Let them know you watch the Koko Morning Show. My co-host, perspicacious.
Perspicacious. Ghanaians are expecting a perspicacious strategy from the finance minister as he presents the media budget today in Parliament.
A very smart one.
I love that. So I hope the finance minister can hear. Yes, we are expecting something perspicacious.
Absolutely.
Well, I would say that as communication students, we have to be perspicacious in our dealings, because mostly even when we come on air, whilst we look at the advantages, we look at the disadvantages as well, meaning weighing or analyzing everything into details.
Right. So, okay. So that's the word for today. Please do add it to your vocabulary and use it in your daily language so people know that you watch Koko Digest. So moving on into the trends, what bits of news have you picked up over the few days that we've been off?
Yeah, as I like to say it, a whole lot is actually
has
trending.
transpired.
But yes, today I bear good news. During the Thought Leadership Program held at UPS somewhere 15th of May this year, the Otumfo Osetutu, the second, was actually there. And then he cautioned, Ghanaians against blindly glorifying riches without understanding how they were acquired. So today I just want to, quote His Majesty. Do not admire power without asking how it was used. Do not admire wealth without asking how it was made. And do not admire success without asking who suffered for it. This is a very deep, information out there, and that's the good news I bet. But another person is trending. That is the 2024, presidential candidate for the new force, the leader Cheddar, is actually trending with regards to a high court in Accra has actually enforced the UK
after
has enforced the UK judgment ordering him to pay over $14.9 million to a British firm, Kohler Holdings Limited. And so we know that he has a very beautiful building at Usu, and that because of this amount, the British firm has actually taken over. And that's the building you're seeing on your screen.
Okay.
Yes. And also, early this year, we also heard, a story about the Asante Achim Lord Kwame Ohene Frimpong, who was actually detained at an airport in Amsterdam, and a whole lot actually transpired when people actually were seeking clarification from Parliament and what have you. For now, we don't know what is going on, and so I'm using this medium to ask. We want to know what is happening to the member of Parliament.
But this doesn't particularly sound like good news for the people in question.
Yes, so for the good news, I've already shared the good news. And then if you do the calculations, I don't want to actually relate it. That is why I shared the good news. What Otunfo said to is actually cautioning us to actually, do. We admire, we glorify riches, and we don't know where the outcome of it. And I'm just also, I brought in the issue of Chada because in terms of leadership here in the country, it boils down to the voters, the voters who vote for people to become leaders. And so I think that we have to take, in terms of scrutinizing people to become our leaders, we have to take good, notice of some of these things. We have to
be perspicacious.
We have to be perspicacious, exactly, to know some of these things because it doesn't send good signal out there. You understand?
Yeah.
And so this person, he was a presidential aspirant. You understand? And then this amount. And so, it's high time we take into consideration some of these things, the leaders we appoint, the leaders we choose to lead the country. When we take a perspicacious, a strategy and we get to know what actually entails, it's a whole lot because at the long run, it affects the good image of Ghana.
And even looking at that a bit more critically, considering Chada's appearance onto the more public or political stage, it was more as though we didn't even know much about him.
Exactly.
And yes, it's also like if you have a certain amount of money, you can buy forms, to try to get yourself into the presidential race. And it begs the question that, is it just anyone who has that amount of money that can decide to go in there without any stringent rules and regulations where they have to follow? Because even though they will go through one or two sorts of scrutiny and all of that, it's as though it may not be, what's the word? Rigorous, yes. It may not also be extensive because now, looking at what we are hearing about Cheda, it looks like there is more to this man than, meets the eye. And if there is more, is there more good or is it bad? Because for a position as like being the presidency, there is a caliber of moral judgment. I think, there's a certain kind of standing you should have in society. And even with your dealing. So you realize that there are even certain candidates, even in some of the political parties, that people constantly say that he or she may be a good, what's the word? A good candidate, but there are certain things they have done or said in public that disqualifies them. Even that they may have the money and all of that to pay for these forms, but it seems as though we may have to also be a little more strict about who we allow to just buy the forms. It shouldn't just be limited to the fact that you have the money and we do some basic foundational. No, it's not even. Let me use surface background checks and leave the person to go into the race. It does not speak well for us because if in the end we get to find out that somebody involved in some very shady deals is now the president of the country, we will be in jeopardy. Exactly.
And that is why I quoted Otunfo Setutu, we blindly glorifying riches. Not to say that, the past and then the present, those who are aspiring to become leaders, they are all in the same bracket. But then we are just saying, like you rightly stated, that we have to look into some of these things.
Yeah.
And it boils down to we the voters. Exactly. It boils down to we the voters because over the years, we understand that people actually sell their vote. They just look at the glamour, and then that is it. They don't consider many other things. And I think that the lifestyle audit will be very imperative, going forward.
And I think it's high time to people needs to be, educated on some of their choices because, we've seen cases where during elections, some leaders bring them rice and oil and TVs and things just to, solicit for votes.
Yeah.
And it will go a long term to affect us, the citizens ourselves. Yeah.
You know, I was also thinking about the education thing. I had a saying that says if you want to keep people powerless, keep them uneducated. And aside the education, it's also the poverty levels are also very high. Right. So already the people do not know, and then also they are hungry. So taking advantage of that, capitalizing on that, of course, they will get what they want because, like you said, someone will bring rice and oil and whatnot and get your votes. You go to the voter and try to educate the person that, look, this candidate is not a viable candidate by certain standards. And they'll say, you that you are telling me this is not the right thing to do, you've not brought me any rice. Exactly. The person that has brought rice is the one who cares about me. You know, these are some of the things that the lack of education and then a very high cost of living is doing to our voters. Right. So you see that sometimes you listen to these sorts of Pan-African conversations, and the conversations are all around the fact that the African leaders tend to keep the citizens, a large portion of the citizens, in abject poverty just so they can continue enriching themselves. Because if we are all, you know, if our education or our literacy rates are higher, the even standard of living is also better, you'd see that people will ask more questions. You cannot now bribe somebody with basic needs because they can already meet those needs for themselves. Unless they are greedy, you will not get anything, which will become difficult for these politicians. They will need more to get their votes, you see.
Interesting.
Anyway, the news, whatever happens, will, like they say, okay, I don't want to use tree, but as time goes on, whatever
Why
information...
don't you want to use tree? Mother tongue. We are promoting culture. You have to.
But okay, whatever happens, obviously, there's no smoke without fire. The smoke is already started.
Absolutely.
So
we'll
follow up and see. Hopefully, it's not too bad. And we wish all the parties involved all the best.
I'm hearing in my spirit that Ubia de Kagana Kradika. It is different.
It is well. Okay, Bevelyn, what have you also picked up?
National service is trending. National service is trending. They're in the news. And why? Somebody will ask why national service is trending. NSA board has directed the association to suspend its capacity building training agreement with Zeus Atlas Limited. And the board has also ordered the NSA, National Service Authority, to immediately halt the monthly deduction of 60 Ghana cedis from national service personnel allowances related to the agreement. So apparently, there's an amount of money which has been taken from the 715 Ghana cedis that's been paid to national service personnel. Somebody may ask, how much is this money that you keep deducting? They're complaining on social media. They're complaining. How much is 715? That's below minimum a.
It's nothing to write home about, but that is what they are giving us.
A lot of them are actually depending on these allowances for their survival. Let me put it that way, for their daily survival, and you keep deducting 60. I think they were supposed to take 60 Ghana cedis for 3 months.
For actually 4 months. So it's supposed to be 15 for each month. So 4 months, it will be 60 cedis. Initially, it was supposed to be like 80 cedis.
Right.
And then they had meeting consultations and they made it 4 months, 15, that is 60 cedis. You know, in as much as I think that, for whatever reason that you made mention of, to address post,
the capacity building training.
Right. It is good. But you doing that without consulting the people is what is wrong. We understand that it said NEC in consultation or collaboration with all the 16 regions, the presidents of all the 16 regions. But the people, they don't know of this initiative. And it's as though it is compulsory, whether you like it or yes, that amount will be deducted from your 715, which is not right. You should have consulted the people, whatever means you should have consulted the people, let them know this is what we are doing for you, and this is it. Now, if you calculate the number of people doing their service this year alone, and you multiply by that number, it's not small money. It is not who is accountable for those things. This has continued for a very long time, even with the 100 cedis for the cloth.
The cloth is now 100 cedis.
I mean, yes, they are deducting that amount.
I have
100
a big
cedis.
issue when it
You
comes to
understand? So-
the National Service cloth, because one, there's no special event that you say that, oh, we are wearing the National Service cloth on Fridays. So then what's the use of the cloth? I see a lot of people use it as ironing, tip, ironing cloth. I've seen a lot of people use it as bed sheets and all of that. And it raises the question, what is the significance of the cloth if they're not going to be
I don't think I
wearing
went for
it?
mine.
You see, you didn't go because you didn't see the need for the National Service cloth. And also, when it comes to the training, the training that they want to do, we've seen the rate of unemployment in this country. Are we still going to train people and then they'll still come home without jobs? That's the question.
Even before
I
that
ask myself.
question, where and how are these trainings going to be embarked upon? Because the National Service personnel have been posted to their respective organizations, working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Now, when exactly is the training going to happen? Where is it going to happen? And for how long? And yes, they did mention a few skill acquisitions and all of that, but the feasibility of this training is one of the questions I want to ask. And, we need clarification on that, because you say you are training the people. The National Service they are already doing is a form of training. So
Exactly.
which other training are you doing, and where, how, and when is that going to happen? Are these National Service personnel going to be taking time from their weekend that they're supposed to rest in to go and get trained for whatever duration of time? And I mean, they started these deductions somewhere in, you said March or February?
I think this year started this year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yes,
When
this
exactly?
year.
Early this year, right?
Yes, early
so
this
these
year.
deductions have been done. So far, what progress has been made also?
Yeah.
What are the updates on that? Because you mentioned that they didn't even consult the general National Service
Exactly.
personnel, and then also now we are not seeing anything about the training.
So there are so many questions that they need to answer. In as much as it may be a good initiative, like you stated, there are a whole lot of questions surrounding it. But my problem has to do with they not consulting the people. Apart from this 60 Ghana cedis issue, and then this 100 Ghana cedis cloth. Anytime you're going to submit your evaluation form, you pay an amount of 2 cedis for the printing. Yes,
So you cannot print it yourself?
No. When you go,
Hey,
they will,
National Service has changed though.
it's a whole lot. So when you put all these monies together, they are making huge amount of money from the National Service personnel, from the period that one is supposed to serve his country and receiving 715 in the month. You are deducting these amounts. And I like the fact that these people came out to talk. At a time we wanted to, but we didn't show up. And so we are supporting this one. Because it is not constitutional. Per the agreement, the government is having with graduates, it is not constitutional. You can't deduct those amounts from it. You
Maybe,
understand?
you see, the National Service allowance was 559 for a very long time. So maybe they think that 715 is too much.
One thing about it is that,
It's serious.
the NSA is not even, it's not from NSA. They didn't authorize that,
that
but
was
it's from
one
NASPA.
question I was thinking
You understand?
about. That
The association.
The association.
I was also wondering, why didn't NASPA take this up with NSA that, okay, this is the mother institution. We think that it will be a good idea to be better equipped with training, skills, and all of that to prepare us for post-national service life. So why not do the liaison with the mother institution, where the mother institution will probably be able to source the funding and have the stakeholder engagements to conduct these trainings, rather than the association themselves taking it upon themselves. This is not to say that they are not an autonomous body and can't think for themselves and all of that. But considering that there is a chain of command and you also want to do something for your people as a NASPA president, or, someone who wants to safeguard the welfare of national service personnel as being elected into that position and all of that. So why not have those consultations with your mother institution where they can find a way to do it? Maybe they could even send certain people, maybe, I think you still have the Metropolitan Assembly, Accra Metro and whatnot. So maybe there could be something organized for the metropolitan areas at every point in the country where these things can happen. Maybe even the NSA could actually even send a directive to all the organizations that, okay, in the last 2 months of the national service, let them, finish with you so that they can come for rigorous training here at ABC and then be prepared for their life after national service. These are things that could easily work. But to take monies from national service personnel, first, without even consulting them. Secondly, for the fact that they have other deductions coming in.
Exactly.
The allowance itself doesn't come on time. Neither is it even enough. And then also you are taking monies from there to be able to facilitate something for them. Obviously, it will not be treated with any kind of happiness or joy.
Right. So me, I'm happy about the.
But they said they are going to stop.
No,
they've
actually halted
stopped.
the deductions, and we hope that
You
they refund them as well.
So
Because
it means they don't want you. Don't want your training.
No,
they should refund them. Yeah.
Until there's a
the
broader
national service
consultation.
itself is a training on its own, unless like maybe your organization, excuse me to say, is not serious.
Yeah, they're
what
making
they are
priority.
doing exactly. So I think it's high time. My time we were taking the 559
Yes.
until we I think it started the 715 started with
last
us.
year.
It started with us.
Okay.
My
You
batch.
got the increment.
Yes,
Okay.
we started with us. So they had to refund all like the balance of the 599 balance to the 715. So I think they should refund them.
Now, let's look at data and statistics so that we can better appreciate the amount.
Right.
From per NSA Director General, total personnel deployed nationally, 99,508. And then for the private sector, 29,000. And 70,508 were deployed to government institutions. And then the deduction per person is 60 Ghana cedis. Like I stated earlier, structured in 15 cities over 4 months. And so total reportedly collected is 4.2 million Ghana cedis. You understand? So this is the amount.
4.2 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Exactly.
A lot.
And this has been over 4 months already, right?
Right, yes.
Because 15
cities
cities for a period of 4 months. And this amount has been acquired. So where is the training at least? Because if the people are complaining and then they get to see that, okay, you're taking them to the YEA, that, okay, everybody should come in batches, let's train you for ABC. At least they go home with their refreshment. They know that, okay, our money has done something. But now,
then, even after the training, what guarantee do these personnel have that they are going to get a job? Because already, look at the outstanding number of unemployed people we have in our country.
Right. But I think that the training is more like, IT coding, like personal skills that, right after service, you can do something with
yourself.
But you see, the issue here currently, even in Ghana, is about policy implementation. It might be a very beautiful policy, well-structured one, but its implementation, this is one of the gaps. Let the people be aware, this is it. So we are deducting this amount. We are partnering with this private company, and this is how we are going to roll it out. I'm sure they would understand. But you thinking that you are an autonomous body, you can deduct any amount from their allowances from the source before getting to them, it's wrong. It's wrong. Yes, we elect you. NSS personnel all over elect presidents to represent them, NEC and what have you. They expect that you take decisions for them. And it is hard. If you talk to NSS personnel,
you have to consult with them.
Right now, if there is a problem, it's not easy for you to even get to your leadership to tell them this is this. Even if you are able to get to them and you tell them, they are not going to address your issues. It has been a situation for a very long time, and I like the fact that they came out to speak. And I like the fact that, NSA has responded, and the many other institutions, as it has been halted, they should just refund their money, and that's all. If going forward, it is a good initiative, they should come out clean, explain, let the people understand. So going forward, when you deduct that amount, we didn't hear this public outcry and what have you. So I think going forward, that is what we should do.
So NASPA executives, are they down to the metropolitan and district levels?
So yes, so they consist of the presidents
It's
elected.
been a long time.
Yeah, so for Accra Metro. So last year,
So
I
is
heard
there
that-
someone who is at the
Yes.
head of Accra Metro?
exactly?
Okay.
They elect president and other secretaries, and so those
So it's
people,
a decentralized system
Exactly,
too,
yeah. So
but
with-
in the end, they all come
yes,
together.
They all come together.
Okay. Then, I mean, considering the reaction of the General National Service personnel and the immediate response that they are going to, they've halted these deductions. Hopefully we hear something about a refund. And if we don't hear a refund, the training should not be a one-day thing, because skill acquisition is, I mean, there are some skills you can acquire in a day, but realistically speaking, repetition is emphasis. So we shouldn't hear that, okay, 4.2 million Ghana cedis has been used to conduct a one-day training. It is too fishy. So let's also be guided. We have a video, talking about the deduction. So let's take a look and then we move on to the next story.
Over the past few days, we have been engaged by the management of the National Service Authority over the concerns and frustrations expressed. In response to the feedback from the service personnel and general public, and as well as in line with the sector ministers and board's directive, the management have issued this directive to NASFA. The capacity building program, as currently structured, is hereby suspended with immediate effect, pending a comprehensive review of the program for a decisive action to be taken, which is in line with our sector minister and the sector minister, the Minister of Youth, Empowerment and Development, Honorable George Opariado's directive. Again, we wish to assure every national service personnel that there will be no further deductions on behalf of or in relation to the capacity building training. We would like to emphasize that we welcome this directive wholeheartedly. We thank the Minister, the Board and Management of the National Service Authority for their wisdom and firm guidance. They listened to our outcry, assessed the situation with seriousness, and issued a directive that protects your welfare while preserving the opportunity for a better future. We are grateful for their partnership and their commitment to getting this right. We thank our media.
All right, so that was the press statement with regards to the deductions that have been halted. So hopefully we get to hear more, concerning the refunds. People want their monies back. Already the 715 is barely enough.
But then I still have a problem with the national service cloth. Actually, I have a problem
Right,
because
later.
when you look at Nigeria NYCS, they have a uniform, okay, which they wear. I think it's green and then
White.
white.
Yeah.
And that is what tells that this is a national service person.
Are
But
you sure Ghanaians will want to wear uniform?
it always starts from somewhere, actually, because I don't see the need where we have a cloth being sold for as high as 100 Ghana cedis.
How many years is it?
Take 100 Ghana cedis from
2 years.
715.
615.
So I think that is supposed to be our uniform. Maybe
So
going
you
forward.
sew that 2-yard fabric
And you be
and wear
wearing
it
it
5
Every
days
day,
a week,
Monday to
But I think it's
Friday.
it's a norm actually, where most institutions have a cloth they sell, because even going back to university days, my hostel that I was in, they had a cloth, and it was part of the fees you pay when you plenty fees and all these, I think, service fees and charges and whatnot, and then you get a cloth. You get exercise books branded with the hall's identity and all of that. So I think it's something that happens even here at Clocksag. We have a cloth, we have a fabric. It's all for identification. So I think maybe, yes, as national service personnel, we don't want to wear the fabric because already national service has a tag that, you are just coming to sell, you're just coming to buy food for your superiors and go. So branding yourself in the fabric even makes a worse situation for you, in that people will be able to identify that, you're a national service personnel, and treat you a certain way, because there's usually a kind of stigma that they face in the organization sometimes.
And I feel like that is what we have to talk about, because if you're supposed to be identified, okay, right now, let's say between a colleague, a staff colleague and a national service personnel, you are not in your organization, you happen to be somewhere else and something happens. How are they going to identify you?
Oh, they will also issue
Because honestly,
ID cards.
maybe unless you're not agreeing with me, but I don't see the need where they'll deduct the 100 cedis for the cloth and they don't tell us what literally or when to wear the cloth or what to do with it.
Maybe now they should enforce something like that.
There should be.
Sew the cloth every Wednesday you wear it, or every Monday you wear it, something. But even that, because of rights and liberties, you cannot necessarily impose that on people. That's why you have the cloth as an indication that, okay, you also went through the system. I'm not justifying it or anything, but I'm just talking about the pattern of it's something that is there everywhere, because even the various ministries also tend to have their own little brand fabric that some of them also sew. Some people also don't.
During special occasions, at least they wear it too.
But national service, have we had any special?
There's nothing like that.
I think this is a genuine concern, and I think going forward they have to consider
they owe me
this
my
concern,
cloth,
and going
at
forward
least,
it will
because
be resolved.
it's sad seeing like it's not NSS is not a small. I don't know who will be undermining NSS, but it's not a small organization for me. To the extent that people are using the cloth like. You go to shops, you see the cloth all over the place.
Yeah, people, they've paid for it. They are at liberty to use it for what they want. But that's notwithstanding, it is true there needs to be more information about what to do with the cloth and its significance. Maybe they should do something that gives everybody a feeling of respect to the cloth, so that it will come up. Maybe they need to change the fabric itself. But
right. So I have another interesting trends. There's a notice from Bank of Ghana to the general public. It's something we've been talking about.
Has the dollar dropped? Not
exactly. It's more than the dollar actually dropping, because it's going to ease pressure. Those of us in the informal sector, when you go and buy something, some of our market women are rounding up, the prices. So the notice from the Bank of Ghana says that, though you see, some people have been rejecting the 1 peso. 5 pesos.
Even now, the 20 pesos and 10 pesos. If it's not, if it does not make up 50 pesos, forget. Nobody will take it.
You can't even buy anything.
You can't buy anything with those. Even toffee is 50 pesos.
And that is making inflation go upwards, and that they've increased prices automatically, like you rightly stated. If something is supposed to be 2 cedis, now 80 pesos, they've rounded up to 3 cedis. They've automatically increased the price. And so I would first of all applaud the Bank of Ghana for listening to the ordinary Ghanaian on the street. And so what they are saying is that, let me just read, all coins issued by the Bank of Ghana, including the Peswa denominations, remain valid legal tender for the settlement of debts and the conduct of transactions throughout Ghana, and have not been demonetized or withdrawn from circulation.
Right.
And so those pure water sellers, our trotro mates, when you give them coins, I don't like, I won't take. Right now, if you say you won't take, you won't take it. Bank of Ghana is saying something, but we will get to them. And then secondly, no trader, transport operator, business entity or individual has the discretion to unilaterally refuse to accept these coins in payment for goods, services, or other legitimate transactions on grounds of inconvenience, low value, or personal preference. Maybe I may pay 10 pesos, no, may pay 2 cedis. You can't do that. So Bank of Ghana is saying it is criminal. So following acts constitute an offense and are punishable under the Currency Act 1964, Act 242. And what does it say? It says that refusing to sell an article to a buyer simply because the buyer is paying with coins or notes, except where the particular coin or note is no longer legal tender. We are using the 10 pesos. We are using the 50 pesos. We are using the 1 Ghana cedi coin, the 2 Ghana cedi coin. Even the 1 peso, we are still using it. So if somebody comes to your shop,
the 1 peso since its inception,
I think you only see it at the malls.
It's still a legal tender, so you cannot reject it.
I think for that one they should increase the size, because little kids coming in contact, they will swallow it. But I want to draw our attention to something.
Yes.
The price of sachet water
Yes.
seems to be one of the driving factors when it comes to the coin usage.
Yes.
Because 10 pesos and 20 pesos became redundant. Immediately, pure water became 50 pesos per sachet. So we should look at that too, that if our most basic commodities that we can acquire are no longer at the prices where we can use these denominations, nobody would want to use them because, like I said, toffee, 50 pesos. Even sometimes they'll say maybe 3 for 1 CD or something because they do not want to sell it at the single unit price of maybe 10 pesos or 20 pesos. So with this, that is one of the places we need to look out for these things because if we don't have anything in those prices, why would people even be interested in using that? Because 50 pesos put together and all of that will give you the amount you want. Why now the need for all those cumbersome coins? Because about 20 pesos becomes one CD, right? Yes. So with all of that, and there's nothing out there that is 80 pesos, there's nothing that is 60 pesos or 20 pesos. People wouldn't want to have that because, see, 20 pesos, the money becomes almost useless because absolutely nothing is 80 pesos anymore.
It's because you and I have decided to reject those.
No, because the sellers are rounding off the...
We are all part of it. And so this is the what Bank of Ghana is saying. Right now, you cannot reject it.
So
you see, so we cannot, you see, already inflation is already high.
Yeah.
Sometimes right now it is low, but then that one is not translating into the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. Prices are still high. These are some of the things. You know, the Bank of Ghana is supposed to, control the economy, the stabilization, and they have to even, the circulation of, it is a whole lot. And so right now they've brought out an initiative saying that it is legal, that you cannot reject it. Going forward, and today, Atufosun will be giving us, Honorable will be giving us, the way forward for the next half of 2026. So we are looking at some of these things. Like you rightly stated, because you are rejecting it, you have increased price automatically. And now inflation was as low as 3.2 and all that, but we were still buying things at higher prices.
So I was also going to say that because when inflation comes down, prices do not come down to the same level as the inflation.
They are not seeing
because Ghanaians don't particularly trust that it will stay low.
Right.
So even when the dollar came down to about, was it 10, 11 cedis or something at a point, there were people who were keeping dollar somewhere because they couldn't rest and relax or be rest assured that it is going to remain. So they were always thinking that, okay, we'll go back to the 22 and 24s. Right. So this is another thing. People are so afraid of what could happen, uncertainty about our economy, that they want to rather safeguard their future at the expense of others. So here, inflation has come down all the way to, is it 2.3 or 3.2? And yet,
5 points.
Okay, at the moment it's gone up a bit. But you see that because after the 3.2 or 2.3 some time back, it came up to 5 point something. The people would be justified, or they will say they are justified in maintaining their prices because they do not want to run at any losses.
Right, but this is also the reason why, Bank of Ghana is not able to stabilize the economy. These are some of the reasons. But then with inflation, economists and analysts will tell you that once inflation goes down, it does not automatically mean that prices of goods and services prices of goods should actually come down. It will take some time. And then when you take a look at, the previous happening, inflation was as high as 20, 40 thereabout. And so all those things comes into play. And like you stated, those times when inflation was high, prices of goods increased. And then right now it has reduced. It's like transport fares. Once transport fares are increased, it is very hard that they'll reduce it.
Yes.
And so you see that this time that inflation is actually low, still the prices are up there. It's as a result of the previous happening. And so a whole lot should be taken into consideration to be able to, stabilize, prices here and then even the economy at large. Right now, if the Bank of Ghana is not able to trace the amount in the system, now there are coins. You say you won't use them. They don't know where these currency denominations are.
Containers full of coins.
So right now, your friend can use them. You should use the coins. And let's look at
even the coin sellers. Do they even give the 20 pesos?
It is even illegal to even sell coins. I don't know why they are not.
I don't think they sell. I think they exchange.
Yeah,
them
I think maybe there is a small token you add to it, because as a seller, as a transport operator, sometimes you need change. So you go, you exchange the note for the coins. I think they also, so maybe if you are collecting one CD worth, you pay some 10 pesos or something. So it's a small business for people too. But we need to consider the fact that the way things are going, the Bank of Ghana should be prepared to most likely see even 50 pesos starting to get phased out. You see, when there was a period of time where the pure water issue became, they said they were increasing the bag from, I think, 10 cedis to about 15 cedis.
It was just
just a few months ago. And that was going to translate into the prices, that people wanted to start selling the water for 70 pesos. That 70, if it had happened, that 70 pesos would not have lasted before it will move to 1 cedi. Because, like we are talking about, that 20 pesos is not something anyone is interested in. In that time, if the water was 70 pesos, you'd see that people would be moving more towards the rounded figures, so they'll move towards the bottled water rather than the sachet water. And we need to also think about the repercussions of some of these things, that as Bank of Ghana is saying we are not allowed to do all of these things. What are the enforcement rules? Because
we'll come to
if you are in the church and the maid says he won't collect, either give me note or get down, where is the Bank of Ghana official or enforcement official to make sure that the maid takes the money?
Right, so we are coming to that.
Okay.
So the Bank of Ghana says it is going to work closely with the Ghana Police Service and other law enforcement agencies to enforce the law. So you can't tell me, once it is a legal tender, that's what a
transport first,
yes.
Police service, how much have they been able to do at Sikajijina?
No, right now, so if you are giving
on behalf of ordinary
I understand. If you are a mate and they are giving you 20% and say you don't like, that is the amount I have. If you won't take, just be there. If the person misbehaves, you just report to the nearest police station or any police officer that you see. And then they've also said that so members of the public who encounter difficulties in this regard are encouraged to report to such I encourage to report such instances to the nearest Bank of Ghana office, to the Ghana Police Service, or through the bank's official communication channels. And you see, you can be arrested and imprisoned. So imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years, or a fine, or both imprisonment and a fine. So if you decide to reject this legal tender, you can be imprisoned and a whole lot. And so this is just a warning to our traders, especially the informal sector, our trotro mates, that you give them coins and they say they don't like. Because of that, they are increasing prices and rounding up prices. Please, if you do that, you can be arrested and imprisoned. So going forward, Bank of Ghana says it is a legal tender and you have no right or whatsoever to reject it.
But I think the maids are more welcoming of the coins because it helps them to give people change. It is the citizens, the people who consume these services. Sometimes you see them, they would throw the coins back at the maids that pay. And some of the maids they remain adamant that, hey, say iska. Some too will change it for you. So I think your admonishment should go to the citizens that it is legal tender. I remember, I think I also bought something and then they gave me the 1 peso coin and I was like, oh. So the lady told me it's legal tender. I took it home like that. I think it's on my table. It's rusted at this point. Those coins also have an issue with the integrity. They cannot be in the system for too long. I think because of the material used. So they should look at that too, the 1 peso and 5 peso coins too.
So what happens to damaged paper or coin? What happens to them?
I think you take it back to the bank or something.
You take it back to the bank. Okay, I have another concern. I think the rule here is not, the issue here is not about the money. Okay, it's not about the law arresting people, but I think the real issue here should be enforcement. Okay? If the Bank of Ghana is saying that they want to collaborate with the Ghana Police Service, they should be up and doing. And I feel like they should start using people as scapegoats, because if they use people to defer others, I'm not sure we'll be here now.
So there's also another issue, which is pressure. You remember 2 CD notes were introduced at a point to ease the pressure on the 1 CD note. Yeah. And then the 2 CD notes were phased out for some time, and the pressure on the 1 CD notes came again. Mm. And so maybe if there is a way they communicate to us that, okay, the coins are also here to just create a balance where you're not overly dependent on one note or the other, maybe people would be more inclined to also use them. Because even comparing it to the 2 CD notes issue, when the 2 CD notes were in circulation, you would see that you don't buy something and collect about 15 notes of 1 CD, but rather, there's a mixture. Yeah. And I mean, political reasons or so, allegedly, 2 CD notes were phased out. But I think with this government, there was a communication that the 2 CD notes will be brought back into circulation. So maybe that could also help. And then more education that, look, no matter how many the coins are, it's still legal tender, you can use it. And maybe we too should be considerate enough to reduce prices of certain things so that we can also be able to purchase things and make the value of these coins, something that everybody can acknowledge. Exactly. Well, again, mid-year budget is coming. Tell us what we should expect, please, business people.
Right. So with this one, I don't want to say much about it. I don't want to even utter a word, because at exactly 9:00 a.m. on this very show, Koko Digest Business segment, we'll be having expert, an economist, and a financial analyst to give us the benchmark, the figures, where we are, where we hope to go. Exactly. And then, during the national budget, we were promised certain things. Looking at the figures right now, are we on track? And are we safe for the next half of the year? So they will be telling us more about the microeconomic indicators and how that is translating into the life of the ordinary Ghanaians. If it is not good enough, what are they expecting the finance minister to say today to say, so that it can actually ease the burden on the Ghanaians? Right. So I don't want to,
start to give us spoilers.
Yes.
But so with the track, if you find out that yes, we are on track, will there be specifics on where exactly on the track we are? Because in literal terms, if it's a 100-meter race, are we at the beginning, are we in the middle, or are we towards the finish line?
Right. So currently, we are in the middle, like per the fiscal year. And so when we take a look at the numbers, with the 2026 budget, there was a target. For instance, for GDP, there was a target.
Okay.
And half the year, when you take the GDP growth through, there's also, a percentage. And then in terms of the sectors like, health sector, education sector, and agriculture, we will look at our performances so far. And then in terms of job creation, how many jobs have we been able to create in the first quarter of 2026? And then a whole lot in terms of, the big push. We were promised the 24-hour economy, how far with it, and how are things going. In terms of, interest on loans, the private sector, how far? Is it? Do we have good indications now? Are we on track per target? So we'll be looking at all these things.
Right. Okay. So Beverly, you take us away with the last trend.
Right. There's an interesting trend which I feel like a lot of people are really concerned about. So yesterday, a company at Amasa Mine, which sells a bag of water for 2 cedis 50 pesos, installed a CCTV camera to monitor everyone entering its premises amid concerns over its licensing status and unhygienic conditions. So yesterday, FDA went to this particular company and they posed as customers to buy water. And reaching the company, if you see the deplorable states of some of their tools and equipment being used to produce water.
Drinking
water is appalling. You should have seen videos online on social media. It's very terrible. They're not in good states.
I think I saw something about weedicides or chemicals also in the water and all of that. And sometimes it makes you wonder, why not do the right thing? Fine, you're selling water for
sachet
for cheap, something that is being sold for 15 Ghana cedis.
Yes. So you're selling water for cheap and all of that. But why not just make sure that everything you are doing is right. You know, you are on the right side of the law. Why do you want to put lives in danger just because? Okay, not that it's just because, but considering the fact that your water is more affordable, maybe means that your supply is something that you may not necessarily be paying for, or it's not capital intensive. And do the right thing.
And you know the sad part, they knew what they were doing, so they actually installed the CCTV camera to monitor people. So you know, just to.
So why not you put that energy into making sure that wherever the water is coming from, the processes, the tools and equipment are all, you know, clean and neat, and because this is drinking water. People are drinking this. People are ingesting this into their bodies, and we are already talking about kidney and liver issues.
Yeah.
And then now coming to you get water for something more affordable than usual, and then it kills you.
You see, like you stated, like you said, it's a deliberate something that they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, in
So
marketing,
are they
somebody
trying
will
to
tell you
do
that.
population control and kill us?
I mean,
So-
thyroid has come to play in this, because this is water we are talking about. And you know what saddens me the most is that some retailers will go for this water, 2 cedi 50% sachets, and will sell it for 50 cedis. You are selling sickness at a high cost.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say is that in marketing they will tell you like you are trying to, you know, penetrate into the market, penetration price, by giving a low, you know, price, but without notwithstanding, like you stated, you could have done the right thing. You selling that 2 cedi 50% fine, but do the standard, the right thing. Once you get hold of the market, then you actually increase the price. But then I also say that, you know,
FDA
selling a
should shut the
sachet
place now,
of
set
water
fire.
They were even
for 2
online
cedis 50
since.
pesos
They were online
is
since,
very
and this-
alarming.
No, it's not legal.
Selling water at that amount is very alarming because, you know, we know the standard. Nobody will sell a sachet of water for 2 cedis 50 pesos, considering the happening in the country. We made mention of the fact that some time ago they wanted to increase the prices as a result of the misunderstanding somewhere in Israel. And then we know the prices. So for you selling it at 2 cedis 50 pesos was supposed to send, you know, a signal to consumers. Then again, some people like to purchase, you know, cheap. Somebody will say affordable, but this affordability, you know, is actually
It's come to
questionable.
kill you.
And so I like the fact that FDA has been proactive enough, and they should, like you said, they should just shut it down.
They
and
have.
then the
They've
needed
actually
punishment
shut
should
it
be
down.
meted out to them. If this could have been a nice business, you know, strategy, if it was actually implemented well,
Yeah.
do the right thing, reduce the price, get into the market. Once you get there, you realize that, you know, you are not making profit. You add up. Right now, for that, you've been able to, you know, enter the space. And so I think that it is a good thing, and we applaud FDA for such good initiative.
And I feel like people have to be serious. People have to be very careful what they take in, because this will go a long way to, you know, have some kind of health implications on you. And you know, for some time now, we heard about the Ghana Statistical Service also, you know, shut down some companies selling fake beds. And up to now, we've not heard any story from them. But we are just hoping that we are just happy that some of these people are upping their game in the industry.
So that's Ghana Statistical
Service.
No, it's Ghana Statistical Ghana
Is it Standards
Authority.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not.
Right. Thank you so much for joining me with this discussion. All too soon, our time is up. And up next is the lifestyle segment. And Thursdays are for entertainment. So we're going to be spending time with Koko Agatha. Please don't go anywhere. Call a friend, text a friend, and join Bevelyn in the lifestyle segment right after this break.
Welcome back to the Koko This Morning Show. This is Lifestyle on the Show. My name is Honorable Beverly Jabia, and as you saw from the very beginning, that should tell you that today we have a creative in the building. We have someone from the creative industry who is an artist and is coming to share his story with us. So you don't want to go anywhere, just stay with us. Koko, welcome to the studios.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've known you for like 6 years now.
Yeah, I think 7. It's 7, 8. Yeah.
It's good to see you that you've actually evolved like over the years. I see some of your works and you are doing very well. But then I would like to ask you here. I mean, I heard a lot of whispers behind the scenes. Hey, Koko Agata, Koko Agata. So, might you tell us the inspiration behind the brand name Koko Agata?
Okay. Yeah. Koko is my real name. Okay. I'm a Wednesday born.
Right.
And then Agatha is my mom. My mom is called Agatha.
Okay.
Yeah. So I derived the name from Agatha from my mom, and I just.
What's the relationship between you and your mother? I know it's a mother-son relationship, but how's the relationship been?
Okay, my mom. Let me say, you see, growing up with no father, and then she has been a single parent,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
So I've in my whole life I've always been around my mom, and so.
She's still
No,
around?
she's no more.
Oh, sorry. That's sorry to you. Right. So what's inspired your music journey, and how long have you been doing music?
Okay, I might say I've been in this game for almost about a decade, but then professionally, let me say 6 years now. Yeah.
And how's the journey been so far?
Good or bad, with the inside, rough, smooth, and then it's a dicey something.
You mean to say there has been bad times, bad experiences?
Yeah. For the bad experience, the day in and day out, we do experience it, but then we chose it. Like nobody forced us to do it. We feel we have the passion, so we should just endure it. Yeah.
And at what stage did you realize that I want to go into music, or you feel like I can do this? Let me just venture into it.
Yeah, you see, as I said earlier on, the passion was there, but then around class 6, class 5, I think 12, 13 years, that was when I realized, you see, mostly on Fridays, we used to do music and dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
In primary school?
Yeah, in primary school, yeah. So that was when I realized that I have the passion, and then, of course, I normally rap, and then that was people's rap, that's copy and paste from there.
Now, you're going to take us back. Give us, you see at that point, class 6, class 5, was there any significant happening, or was there any significant, kind of song, kind of lyrics that made you decide that, I'd like to go into music one day?
Yeah. I was growing up, I was a fan of Osama Nkweku.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an old deep life artist.
Okay.
And then I listened to Obo or Brafo. But then this song from prior, I think Darling Was Your Problem. Yeah, that was the song that inspired me most. And then I was like, yo, let me just try and do something.
Right. So if music didn't happen to you today, if you didn't go into music, what would have been your profession, or what would you have been doing now? Okay,
I'd wanted to be oncologist or a politician.
You wanted to be a politician?
Yeah. Or someone who treats cancer, oncologist. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's like the health field.
Yeah.
But it's not too late, actually.
Yeah, I would definitely do it.
And why didn't you become a politician? Why didn't you venture there? Was there something that was stopping you?
I would say that's financial issues, like growing up, growing up with no parents, and then we are just on the street.
So you feel like you have to have money before you can be a politician?
Oh, I feel, because right now I've deviated from that side, because I'm on the street now.
Yeah.
You get me? And then hand to mouth is working. So I think when the time is due, I will definitely do it.
Right. I know sometimes growing up as a creative, in our homes, mostly our parents want us to be, doctors, they want us to be lawyers, they want us to be in like the white collar job. That's where they see you to be like more of value to them. How was it like growing up in your home with a single mother? How did she take it? Or even your family at large?
My mom wasn't cool with that, though. But then she has been complaining, but
it gets to a point and run am here because on no crown or complaining. She doesn't have the support to pull me up, so she felt and she was like, fine, if I'm not media, then many years I should do it well. And
Wow. Did you ever try talking her out of it? Oh, music can, take me somewhere. Have you ever tried talking to her about it?
Yeah, she know. And then actually she also like music. Yeah, she also like music. So there are certain things she just advised me not to do.
Okay, so I have a question. Was it Ghanaian rappers or international act in the sense that you said you were listening to Obo and some of, Prior, you made mention of Prior as well. Was there any international musician also that inspired you in a way? Because when I listen to your song, honestly, it has that kind of, local rhythms. And that's what Ghanaians love, okay? It's hard when you're introducing them to something new, right?
Okay, it's Ace Hood and then Jay-Z. Yeah, those two people are there.
Give us one line in any of that songs.
You know, I can't. The funny part is I can't even sing their song.
Right, but you listen to foreign.
Oh yeah. I listen to, as I said, I listen to Ace Hood and Jay-Z. I just like listen to them, watch their videos, and then just pick maybe the attitude and other stuff in it, and then blend it with mine.
Now, Kweku, let's come to you. Who is Kweku Agata beyond the music that we know you to do? Who is Kweku Agata? Are you somebody that quits when there's a lot of pressure? Are you somebody that's likely to even quit when things start getting tensions? Who is Kweku Agata? Probably you have like some possible fans out there who have been listening to your song, but they still don't know who you are.
Yeah, Kweku Agata is a Ghanaian rapper from Kaswa. Yeah, I've been in Kaswa for almost about 10, 11 years now. Yeah, but I'm the type, I just focus on one thing. If I put it to me, this is what I wanted to do, I don't quit. And then I don't listen to any other person outside. Yeah.
Focused as well.
Yeah, that's
a musician stay in Kaswa and then in St. Pio. In St. P.
Kaswa top talent they top talent they Kaswa. Kaswa.
Wow. But Agata, I know you said that you are very determined, but were there times in the music scenes that you felt like I said pushy. Let me just, back up one side and watch. Was there times like that?
Yeah. It's happened.
When was that?
2018, 2019. Yeah. Oh yeah, I quit.
What song was in the pipeline as at that time?
I stopped. I think that was I Don't Care. After I performed music, and then I stopped music. Because my mom.
Okay, you were actually on music.
Oh yeah, I've been on big platforms.
Okay, so music was in which year?
Okay, I performed 2019.
2019.
That was.
Did you pass auditions?
Yeah. I passed, and then they put me on, and then I performed.
So what was the main challenge over there? Was it about the votes? Was it about the performance? What did the judges say, or what did they tell you?
I did my best, and then I think I was part of the 5 finalists or something. Yeah. So after that,
you came out. Which position did you come?
I didn't. They crowned from 1st to 3rd. That's all.
Okay. So you were 4th or 5th?
Yeah, I was in between that, either 4th or 5th.
How can you be in between 4th and 5th?
Because initially I didn't know my stand, because they crowned from 1 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. But you made mention that time of your life didn't really sit well with you.
Yeah, and then I stopped music.
You stopped music?
Yeah.
So what made you come back?
I feel the passion is there. And then whenever I stop music and then try different things, like it doesn't work, it won't work for me. So I have to just come back to the music and then just push.
Wow. A lot of people or a lot of musicians say that music is spiritual. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I really side with them. Yeah, music is spiritual.
No. Do you have any experience that you would like to share with us? concerning music being spiritual?
Okay, it's more of, you see, we have physical and the spiritual aspect. But in the spiritual aspect, you can go in for a program or a show, and then on the stage you can lose your lyrics, and then you won't even record the lyrics.
It happens like that.
Yeah, the song we play, and then you will even forget, and then you just be doing different thing. Yeah, sometimes too, whenever you grab the mic, you just can't voice out. Yeah, you just can't voice out. So people out, the fans and people out there may have this perception. So
performing.
Yeah.
So would you you know, a lot of people have their let me say stronghold. Okay, they say they like it in the studio when they're recording alone, and then they like it when they are performing. Some people also like it when they are performing. Yeah. Which one do you like best? Is it in the studio or the performing?
I like performing.
You like the performing?
I like performing. Yeah.
Okay.
I like performing.
Oh, wow. But before we continue, let's take a listen, or let's go for a music break, and let's take a listen. Song.
Yeah.
So you are kind of a writer and a singer at the same time, and you're also a rapper.
Yeah.
Multiple talents. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is a good one. Interesting. So, what's the inspiration behind the song Scars?
Scars.
What inspired you?
Scars. I wrote Scars through my life experience.
Okay.
What I've been through my whole life.
What have you been through?
A lot.
Like.
You see, you being an upcoming artist, like an individual brand, and then there's no support from anywhere.
Independent.
You get me? Doing your thing, and then a lot of ups and downs. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
Right. So when did Scars come on board? Which year did you release this?
I think this month. That was last week.
Last week.
Yeah, that was last week.
And we are very privileged to have this because this is actually a banker.
Yeah.
But how is the reception? How are people accepting the song? How's
the response really can be very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool. I think people really like it.
Right.
Yeah, people really like it.
You know, the Ghana music industry happens to be a very competitive. Let me say competitive. If you don't have the fans, you know, the the fans and the fans. I say fans and fans because yes, you have the fans, but if you don't have the fans to push you there, it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
What has been your greatest, inspiration for your music journey? What keeps you going? Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but what keeps you going?
Okay, I mostly watch where I'm coming from. Yeah.
Baby, I will free ni baby.
Maybe I make kono. Yeah. I also me share me chi. So me jaya mahame ho. Because I've spent years around it, which I feel say I will say me do baby I make ko. Me jaya mahame ho. So I just keep going like.
Right. But one cause I will try baby I will free ni baby I will kono. Like has there been like a massive improvement?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then me I see. But many talented artists disappear after releasing one song. You see, like you said, after the TV3 mentor, you actually stopped for a while and then you are back. What's the assurance that you're not going to, go back again or you're not going to stop on the way? What's the assurance we should get from you? Not only you, but we've seen a lot of issues like this happen. We've seen a lot of musicians that blow, and then all of a sudden we don't even hear from them again. Up till now, we've not heard from them or how their life is going or everything with regards to their music career. Give us the assurance that when we hear or when Ghana as a nation, gets to hear about one of your hit songs, we are still going to hear from you.
Yeah, you see, as I said earlier on, you see, I once quitted and then I'm back.
Right.
You hear me? And then I will be dropping an album. So I don't think that sometimes people drop an album, no, I will just give up and then ghost myself.
Have you ever dropped an album or you are
No, I'm yet to.
You're yet to drop an album. Okay.
So then I don't think I will ghost. Nah.
These are some of the assurances that we want to see. But then apart from Scars, which other song is on your heart? Which other song?
I have Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. Gold it's out. Yeah, I have Gold. I have Congratulations. Like let's
take a listen to Gold. We'll be back shortly. thought it was related to Galamsey.
No,
But this though you didn't, I thought you were going to sing about people to stop galamsey, that they're destroying our water bodies. But do you intend to do something like that, like talk on national issues?
Oh yeah,
Have you
yeah,
ever
of course.
tried
I was,
that?
I was.
Because you even said that you wanted to be a politician. So I think this is a very good.
And then the funny thing is, I was once a galamsey worker.
Hey, Ghana Police Service, please. Wow. I'll interview you on that because they have to come and pick you up ASAP. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go. You've repented.
I'm no more.
Okay. I'm sure Ghana Police Service will forgive you for that. But then, Koko, looking at the song Gold, what inspired your writing? You wrote this one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gold. We were in the studio. Actually, we went to the studio to do different things. And then the producer was just playing random beats. And then I heard this and I was like, yo. And in that moment, I and my brother Power TV, where we were in the house from morning to I think around 5, no food, no water. You get me? So we were inside and then we just received a call, say, go studio now. Say, if you are we should just enter the studio and catch some vibe. So we went there and then, as I said, the producer just came up with a beat. And I felt it, I was like,
you mean the sound engineer?
The sound engineer, yeah. Kes Beats, big shout out to Kes Beats.
Right.
Yeah, so the producer just came up with the beat and then I was just playing around it. And the guy said, Charlie, affirm. Charlie, I'm a 5 beats in baby. So I just create this gold instant.
Well, Koko, now let's talk about social media. Social media has made things quite easy. How is promotions like on social media? Are people actually responding to
I think
your
my
content?
core fans are there. You say right now, social media, I say, if you do, let me say, in quote and unquote, something sensible, we don't like it. You hear me? I do why rough be
like
something
you have to be
doesn't
funny.
something you know the sound self.
Like people feed on negativity as
You understand?
well.
Well, it's fine.
So how's content
good.
been like for your songs there?
We are just doing our best. We are just doing our best. At least, or more money they do purchase it and then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I was coming to the let's talk about something else, but what's one message that you want people should take away from your life or your musical journey as a whole?
I always go with this thing. I don't give up. Yeah, no matter what, I will do it. Yeah, because I believe if we are A-list artists, like we get A-list artists over there, they also started the way we also did. So we shouldn't just give up. We should just do it, and then at the right time, we will definitely see the end results.
Right. So have you recorded under any record label starting up, and even as of now, are you under any, or you are still independent? You started independent.
Yeah, and I'm still doing
You're strong, man. You're a strong guy.
You.
Solid guy. Oh.
Yeah.
Independent from day one till now. And you didn't get any of them approaching you, or let's do something together.
I've had an encounter with record labels coming up.
And what do you tell them? You tell them, I'm a hot cake.
Because I get team, and then I feel say what the team are doing, I don't see anything to involve.
Though you are independent, you still have your queue. Like you have people that you work with.
Yeah, I have people, and then it's a talent community on its own. Okay. We have talent in it, so we just came up and then feel like we should just build something. So we just support each other, and then.
But there's no registration on any record label or everything. But how do you see it? Like people doing record labels with people, producers. How do you see it? Do you see it to be something that's beneficial? Because over the years we've had issues where I don't want to mention names, but issues between artists and then there are record labels. And how do you see it?
Dicey. It's dicey. Way. That's how the thing is. I balance it. I can't tell you.
And to say collaborations, on say be into 4 together. How do you see collaborations?
It's fine. It's very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
How many people have you done collaborations with so far?
Awesome. I have 2 or 3 songs now out. Yeah, I think.
Which song do you have so that we can call in for a collaborator song then?
I think I did one with Kofi Weather and the Power South TV.
Okay.
Yeah, Power South TV.
The Blessing. Okay, let's listen to The Blessing. We'll be back shortly. So between you going solo and collaborations, which one do you like best? Or you say it depends on whatever you want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It depends on the song.
But both are okay. Yeah.
Now, Koko, what's your assessment of Ghanaian hip hop today? What's the assessment of Ghanaian? What do you think about hip hop? Baby, are you feeling? Baby, are you do Ghana music industry?
Yeah. Whether good or bad, we dey inside.
It's like Koko doesn't want trouble. Anything whether good or bad, we dey inside. He doesn't want to say something that people will come for him.
The people out there, they know. So money,
Interesting.
So good.
But do you agree with me that sometimes rappers are the good singers? Do you agree with me?
I would say 50%. So 50%. Yeah, because
50%.
Because any rappers not a team singing. Not all rappers are good in singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because maybe from your point of view, because I see most of the rappers. Let's take Sarkodie for instance. Let's take what's the name? Oh, Ameraldo.
Yeah,
He's a rapper, right?
Yeah. He was.
He was a rapper, but he's now a singer. Let's talk about King Paluta. King Paluta was also a rapper, or he's still a rapper. Kwame Eugene, would you say he's a rapper or a singer?
Though Kwame can rap, but Kwame started as a singer. I don't.
As a singer.
Yeah.
But honestly, per what I've seen so far, I know Shatawale also did some few.
You are good to go. But for rap, unless you add many things like
Many things like what?
I think wordplays, metaphor, alliterations, about for singing, they'll be to me repeat one line.
Then it means you should agree with me that rappers are the good singers because rap is hard. Okay, they're able to blend a lot of things together to put so they can they can divert that kind of to singing.
But don't forget we sing in key. Key is nearly singing. You get me? I go through rap off key or on key myself me call. But sing and I just feel like you key C sharp ne nyama bi no.
So any day you go for rap.
So on I'm call. Yeah.
But then, Koko, what do you think about, do you think we are mixing the two? Because we've seen a lot of people, like I said, they always divert. They start with rap. We've seen that of Strongman. I think Strongman also does like solid raps and all of that. We've seen people, start with raps and all of a sudden they divert. What do you think or makes them want to divert, or they're just trying nebefa and
you see, sometimes you shouldn't be in your comfortable zone always. You just try to add different things to it. Just try to do different things and then see your power zone. If me try we are meeting fine, then you just try it. Right. But in other way, Ghana rap don't really pay.
Okay.
You get me?
Rap doesn't pay, and you are still doing rap.
That's for the culture. I have the passion and then I feel the
rap. But then Agatha, if you tell me that rap doesn't pay, maybe I might disagree with you.
Rap is done. You get me? The fact it doesn't pay, like not be necessarily say into your crowd. As compared to you see as who show, and then they ask you to invite artists, and then the singer and a rapper. Which one will you go for? You will definitely go for the singer. That's how the things. Rap it to about.
But do you think people find it difficult to let me say get along with raps than music? Because singing, the person is getting the lyrics, okay, listening to the words, the rhythms, but rap, I say, but those kind of words.
And Ghanaians, we don't like stress.
Ghanaians don't like stress.
Or be a TikToker. Something as a bit in that Junakuma. I found obey rap, na be a killer, na be a stay. No, I'll be flip a crack. Again, Ghanaians, we don't like. Should I say we don't like reading?
Right. Koko, let's come back to you, but before we do that, let's go and listen to your song. It's giving manifest, confuquade kind of vibes.
Yeah, for real.
What was the inspiration?
As I said, Kwade is also
one
someone,
of the people that you look up to.
and then manifest as well. So I just.
So how old is this song?
7-8 years ago. Actually.
And where did they shoot the video?
Around Liberia Camp, Brown.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's why.
Okay. I like the concepts, okay, of the video and everything about it. But then in the video, I realized that your hair was short then.
Yeah.
Your hair was short. So why do you have what's the name of the hairstyle again? What's the name of the hairstyle?
When I said dreadlocks.
Where are dreadlocks? Oh, okay. So what inspired you to have dreadlocks? I would say when you have short hair, people don't really picture you with that about damn crazy.
Oh no, I was with a short hair and I just thought, "Mami sister branding kakran."
Okay. Yeah, so the hair is your branding.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to go back to short hair.
No.
Or you do it when you feel like.
No, I don't think so.
Whenever you're in the mood.
But I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll go back to the short hair again.
Right. So quickly, what do you want people to, or what legacy do you want to leave when it comes to the Ghana music industry? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Okay, right now, I really want to push the music somewhere for Ghanaians to see we have someone who can raise the flag. You see, mostly it's all about Nigerians. Yeah, but in my circle, we have hard artists who say whenever we pop up, we go fit.
Good.
Yeah.
So which Ghanaian musician do you hold in high esteem as of now?
I like Opanka.
DJ Opanka.
Daddy Opanka.
Daddy Opanka.
I like Opanka.
But it's been a long time we've
heard.
We've heard about Opanka.
It drop. But we say Ghanaians nobody they listen to real thing. And that's how Ghanaians.
Because honestly, maybe I'm not the one, but it's been a long time.
Oh yeah.
Daddy Opanka.
But then they drop back to back. Yeah, he has been dropping songs.
Right. Have you had any collaborations with him?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But you would like to.
Definitely.
You would like to meet him. So Daddy Opanka, if this video or if this interview gets to you, just know that you have a fan here who would like to meet you one day. But you made mention that we, when it comes to the music industry, is always been Nigeria. What do you think Nigerians are doing that Ghanaians are not doing when it comes to the music scene?
Nigerians are not doing anything better than us.
Okay.
It's just that one, we don't have investors.
Okay.
And then Ghanaians, we like discriminating. But Nigerians don't do that.
Discrimination when it comes to what exactly? Like
the music industry, even in the movies, they do. Like Nigerians don't do that. Even if Nigeria, they will definitely support you and they put you there. You get me? But Ghanaians, even Ghanaians, you get me?
Yeah.
So it's killing Ghanaian. It's killing our game. Yeah. So,
but how do you accept criticisms when it comes to music? Have you ever dropped a song where people came to leave bad reviews or bad comments? Have you ever been in such situation? And how did that make you feel? For
me, I feel, you see, depression is real.
Have you had that experience before?
Once a while, a woman will be a continue on flow vibe. You will definitely. Yeah. But I feel sometimes I don't take it personally because depression is real. Or feel depressed. Or say, yes, or can say no. Until that moment, no commenting me video. I want to say, when to me and say no. You get me? Yeah. Until I feel it's normal. I don't. Because my whole life I've been on the street and I know how it works. So certain things doesn't enter me.
Right. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Would you see yourself still doing music?
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself?
I go fit take BET.
You fit do what?
I go fit take BET.
Where's that?
It's you know BET award.
Oh, Clarky. I didn't hear that part well.
Oh, okay. I go fit take some. Yeah.
Inshallah, it will happen. It will happen. So where can people, stream your music? Where can they find your music? Where can they find you, actually?
Okay, I'm on all socials. Koko Agata, KWAKU, Agata AGARTHA, on all socials. And then you can stream my music on all DSPs, all digital streaming platforms as well. You know, Amazon, everywhere, Spotify, everywhere. Koko Agata.
Yeah. You made mention that we should also expect an album. When is it
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
up? And how's preparations
September
going?
5th. The album, Tales of Agatha, will be out on September 5th September. Yeah, and then we will be doing launching as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the 3rd of September.
That will be 5th September.
5th September. Yeah. Okay. And how's preparations going so
Yeah,
far?
we are working on it. We are working on it. For the album, the songs are done and then we are just working on other stuff, so visualizers and things.
Right. Now, Agatha, let's hear from you your final words, your advice to, especially the young creatives coming. What advice you have for them? And also to your fans as well. If you have any shout outs you want to give
For
to
my fans,
the team.
Let me give this shout out and then big shout out to Power South TV. He's also an artist. He's the one I came
This
with.
is your camera.
Big shout out to Power South TV. Yeah, he's an artist as well. Yeah, he has been a brother from day one till now. Yeah, and then Nafkel, Sednak Music. A whole lot. And then my fans, I don't have to speak for you to know I have saliva in my mouth. You see, as I do them every day, I always they give it to you back to back. Tales of Agatha album will be out on 5th September. So just stay tuned and then anticipate.
And what advice do you have for young creatives?
They should just do whatever they feel like doing. They shouldn't give up. That's the major key. They shouldn't give up. They should just do it and then at the right time they will enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Koko Agata was on Lifestyle for the Koko Digest Morning Show, and I might tell you it's been an interesting conversation. And if you missed today's section, I'll tell you that you have to find us on our social media, on YouTube and on Facebook, to get a glimpse of the entire interview. Thank you so much, Koko, once again for joining us. We'd like to have a few birthday celebrants, so we wish them a happy birthday.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Birthday to Melissa. Have the most amazing birthday. You truly deserve all the happiness in the world. Enjoy every moment and celebrate big. And this is coming from the entire team of Clock TV. You've been a very pivotal role in the TV station. And a belated birthday to Eunice Owusu. We're wishing you a day filled with happiness, laughter, and everything that brings you joy. It's a pleasure working with somebody as dedicated, kind, and supportive as you. She is the producer for the business segment, which is coming up in a few minutes' time. Thank you so much. Belated happy birthday from the Clock TV team. This is a happy birthday to Clement Yaban Kwe. May this new chapter bring you new opportunities, personal fulfillment, and many memorable moments. Have a fantastic celebration and a prosperous year. Amen. And this has been all on the lifestyle segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Once again, my name is Annabelle Beverlyn Ejabia, and I am out. Next is the business segment with Peter and Sia. Do stay tuned.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome. This is the Business Update segment of the Koko Digest Morning Show. And usually on this segment, we provide you with the latest in the world of business, expert analysis and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. I am your host, Peter Insia. Today we are discussing a very imperative topic, setting the benchmark, expectations for the 2026 mid-year budget review. A few hours from now, at exactly 2:00 p.m., the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen, will be in Parliament to present the mid-year budget review. And so this morning we are having a discussion on this very subject matter. You know, back in November 2026, the national budget promised us a reset for growth, jobs, and transformation. It gave us a sweeping tax reforms, the elimination of COVID-19 levy, and a bold blueprint for a 24-hour economy. But 6 months into the fiscal year, we can actually say that the honeymoon, period is officially over, and so it is time for reality check. Yes, so like I stated earlier, at exactly 2:00 p.m., the Finance Minister will be in Parliament to present this, and so we are looking at the numbers today to check whether we are on track, what we've been able to achieve so far. So we are looking at the microeconomic indicators and the sectors that are actually performing. But before I introduce my guests, we have some interesting, graphics for you. The microeconomic indicators, debt deficit, the, inflation trend, and what have you. Let's take a look at our graphics. And then when we come back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll start the conversation right here. Right. So what you can see on the screen, so we are starting with the broader picture. Inflation is at 5.3% year on year in June, up from 3.7% in May. That is 3 straight months of increases, though still far below the 13.7% we saw a year ago. The monetary policy rate has held steady at 14% since March, and average lending rate sits at 16.33%. And real GDP growth is at 6.4% for first quarter, actually slightly ahead of the 6.2% recorded the same quarter last year. And that's the backdrop for everything else we are about to discuss. Please move on to the next slide. Right, that is the sector performance. Now that GDP growth isn't evenly spread, information and communication grew 25.2%. Mining and quarrying grew 10.7%. That's a real comeback after just 4.1% last year. But fishing contracted by 18.5%, the sharpest decline of any sector we track. And then the accommodation and food services shrank 13.6% as hospitality demands keep softening. So the recovery is real, but it's uneven. And that unevenness matters as we move into the fiscal numbers. Yes, and there we have it, revenue increase. On the fiscal side, government revenue hit 268.1 billion cedis, an 18% jump year on year. Treasury will tell you that improved compliance and broader economic activity feeding, through. But But the real question this morning is whether the revenue growth is translating into value for the ordinary Ghanaian. We will be looking at that as well. Next slide, please. Yes, so that is the expenditure. Please go back to the expenditure commitment. But, so spending also grew. So a total expenditure commitment stands at 302.5 billion cedis. So already you can see revenue and spending aren't, matching. The gap is roughly 34.4, billion cedis, and it's the number that shapes everything else in the fiscal picture. Let's move on to the compensation of employees. Yes, so a big driver of that spending is the wage bill, 90.8 billion cedis after a 9% base pay increase. It remains the single biggest line item in government expenditure. So any conversation about fiscal discipline has to start from here. The next slide. And there you have it, the deficit funding, which brings us to the deficit itself. On commitment basis, it's 34.4 billion cedis. But when you look at the cash basis, it jumps to 64.4 billion cedis. that widening gap between what government has committed to spend and what it's actually had to pay out in cash tells you where the real fiscal pressure is sitting right now. And so let's move on to the next slide. That's the financing the cash deficit. So this shows that gap between, so this is 71 billion cedis from domestic financing versus just 6.6 billion from foreign sources. So you can see the difference. Government is still leaning heavily on local debt markets to close this gap, and that has direct consequences for interest rates, which affects everyone borrowing money in this country. The next slide. And there you have it, external debt restructuring. So against that backdrop, here is the milestone story. $2.1 billion Eurobond restructuring. Government is calling this a turning point, a transition out of the domestic and foreign financing squeeze we've just walked through, and a step back towards normal market access. Let's take our last slide. Yes, in terms of businesses and households. So what does all this actually mean for the ordinary Ghanaian? That 16.33% average lending rate is what businesses and households are facing right now when they walk into a bank. So even as the headline numbers, revenue, GDP, the Eurobond deal, look encouraging, this is the figure shaping the real cost of living pressure on the ground. And that's where we bring in our guests for this discussion. Actually, we're having two guests on the show today, one a financial analyst and one an economist. So with me in the this morning is Mr. Benjamin Nathan Ochiri, ASCI Chief Financial Analyst and an Advisor. Good morning, sir, and many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, my brother Peter. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. We'll also be having Professor Joseph Ntwi-Befi, who is the head of economics department at the University of Skills, Training and Entrepreneurial Development on the phone later on. And so, Mr. Nathan, as you just, the figures.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll ask you how you would assess the first half of 2026.
Okay, so thank you so much, Peter, for having me. And I think that Ghana has had a very good run.
Right.
In my opinion, I think the economic managers have done a very good job. Looking at inflation, dropping into single digits from a double digit, when we're in the 2024s.
Yeah.
And now we get to see it, inching up a little bit for 3 straight months or 3 consecutive months.
Right.
We've seen it growing, and that is coming at the back of, wars in the Middle East between US, Israel, and then Iran.
Right.
And then we get to see how our currency is slightly depreciating.
Right.
So you could see that for inflation, things have been okay. We are still within the midterm band. That is the 8 plus or minus 2, or somebody will say 6 to 10%.
Right.
Now, if you look at growth, you've seen that the economy has also grown for the first half.
Right.
And that is also something that we should appreciate the economic managers for.
Right.
Another thing we'll look at is the cedi being stable.
Right.
Looking at 2024 coming to 2025, you could see the kind of performance the cedi has come up with, all at the back of the Gold Board initiative.
Right.
Now, lastly, maybe I want to touch on the sovereign credit rating, which is more of an external backing to the performance of economic managers.
Right.
Because if Moody's or Fitch will upgrade you, then it means that you are doing something right. And so therefore, I think that is something that the outside investors have seen, and then they have more confidence in our economy because we are on the right path. So I think overall, economic managers have really done very well. We need to appreciate them for that, even amidst certain risks and certain issues that we need to deal with.
That's interesting. So economic management have actually done really well. It's just a reminder that we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can be part of this conversation, or you can send us a text via our WhatsApp number that would be displayed on your screen, and I'll gladly read them aloud. And so later on, as I stated, Professor Joseph H. Befi will be joining us on the phone. And so, Mr. Nathan, so let's focus on the actual spending so far. Are we seeing prudent expenditure in terms of levels, targeting, and efficiency, or concerns around over things and that spending? In terms of that, what are we seeing?
Okay, yeah. So, Peter, I think that we have been quite disciplined in our spending.
Right.
The fiscal space and fiscal level we are seeing now is quite encouraging, because if you look at the debt to GDP ratio, where we exceeded the standard of the 50-55% from standard of IMF and then World Bank, we have now come below that, and then we are sitting around 46-47%. Yes, we have other borrowings to do if you look at the financing schedule, and if you look at the kind of deficits that we have, as you've shown your audience. We have done quite well, but we still need to be very tactical. And if you look at something like the capital expenditure, whereby we look to develop more infrastructure and then push more of these infrastructure projects so that citizens will be able to benefit. That is where we are lacking. So maybe we may want to see some improvement in that area, but tactically. So overall, I think that our fiscal discipline has been on point.
Great. So you made, in your submission, you made mention of IMF and we ending the IMF program and the PCI. What do you make of these two? As we are ending the IMF program, actually we've ended it, and we are going for the PCI. Do you foresee that because we ended the IMF program, and per history, anytime we end with IMF program, we tend to spend, anyhow, and we go back to the market as well. Do you foresee that? And so far, like you stated, that we've done well, and we need to, congratulate or thank the microeconomic managers. What do you see in terms of that? We're transitioning from IMF to another policy coordination instrument. Do you foresee anything with regards to that for the next 6 months of the fiscal year?
Okay, so I think this is a brilliant move by the managers, because history has told us that immediately we go for IMF and then we end it. The first 2 years we perform very well, but following the third year and the fourth year, we go out of the real line and then we drive anyhow. So it's something that is very glaring in our eyes. We need to be careful of that. But the PCI, that kind of program with IMF, at least I'm sure would keep us in shape for some time, because this is going to be done for, I think, 36 months. That's about 3 years. And so therefore it means that if this is well implemented and followed through, we are not going to see history repeating. But if we don't, and then we take our own way of doing things. And remember, election is around the corner. And every time there's elections, we overspend. History says it. So if we implement what we are going to do with IMF, then it means that we'll be on track, to be disciplined on our spending, and our deficits will gradually come down.
Right. So that will mean that we always need external help to stay disciplined. Like you rightly mentioned, that election is actually approaching. So once we've ended the IMF, you have to go for another program just so that we will be in check in terms of spending and what have you. That is very brilliant. I'll come back to you. But Professor Ntwi Befi is also on the line. He's the head of economics department at the University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development. Good morning to you, Prof, and many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Please, if you could speak up, it would be more appropriate for me.
Right, Prof. So this morning we are basically talking about the benchmark and the expectations for the 2026 mid-year budget review. And so quickly, my first question to you will be, how are you going to assess the first half of 2026 so far?
In terms of the macroeconomic indicators, some did quite well, others not so good. In terms of revenue generation and and all those other aspects of revenue, there was a shortfall. But when it comes to expenditure, because revenue generation, there was a shortfall in revenue generation. Government is trying her best not to overrun her expenditure. So generally, it's fairly okay. You will not get 100% score, but I think that the performance has not been so bad from the economic point of view.
At the key deficit metrics in the mid-year review, how well is spending aligned with fiscal targets? Does the balance between revenue and primary deficit suggest sustainable and productive use of resources?
Honestly, I don't have the numbers. And when the call came, I couldn't work out the numbers well. But you see, the point is that there has been some revenue shortfall. Even with the household, when your income reduces, what you do is you readjust your expenditure. And because I don't have the numbers, I don't want to say anything out of the blue. But the fact that government is able to readjust the expenditure to meet the shortfall in revenue means that there has been some kind of fiscal discipline. So you target to get a certain amount, there was a shortfall, but then they try to manage the expenditure just so that they don't overrun, they don't have a deficit between the revenue and the shortfalls. So it's okay. The performance hasn't been so bad. I cannot just give a government 10% or 20%, considering how they have been able to manage the fiscal side of the economy vis-a-vis revenue and expenditure. I think it's quite okay.
Right. Thank you very much for that submission there. Most people are making reference to the xenophobic attack in South Africa, where government had to spend an amount to repatriate those people to Ghana, and also the flood where the president actually ordered the finance minister to retrieve some money from the contingency fund to support them. With that unforeseen circumstances, one would say these circumstances were not budgeted for. Do you see its effects on the economy going forward, or you expect the finance minister to ask for supplementary budget?
No, that is why we have the contingency fund. It is a fund meant for contingency purpose. So if we didn't anticipate a flood and there's a flood and government had to spend on the flood victim, it is appropriate. If we didn't anticipate xenophobic attack and government had to actually spend on Ghanaians, it's appropriate. It is not the amount, it is what the money has been used for. These are taxpayers' money. Individuals have paid taxes. So in times of difficulty, the government is stepping in to use my own money to help me. That shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. So yes, that is why we expect government to exist, to solve individuals' problems.
Right. Thank you very much.
You can say that the government didn't budget for it, but any budget has miscellaneous expenses. We have contingency funds. That is what we use the money for. And the amount of money in relation to the total budget is barely insignificant. That is not something that is enough to throw government budgets overboard. So I don't see the argument in government spending along these lines.
Right. Thank you.
If government didn't spend, then that would have been a big problem, and I would have had a big problem with government. When you have such a disaster, and government says, "I'm trying to stick my budget, so I'm not spending on that." I mean, it doesn't make sense in a way.
Right.
So it's fair that government will spend, and government spends well. And so I don't see any issue. I don't see any problem with with this. And of course, if government wants to ask for more money, it should justify. Government should justify that because of this and that has happened over the past 6 months, we need this amount of money. But yesterday, I overheard the Minister of Finance say that he's not going to ask for more money. And so, if I am taking him by his word, then I think it's fairly okay if we're able to maintain this level of fiscal discipline. My only problem is that during the election period, all these gains we might have been making will be drained away by election campaign and election promises and all that. But apart from that, I think things are fairly okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Please hold on for me. I'll come back to you concerning inflation. But for now, Mr. Nathan, inflation is at 5.3% and creeping upward, while the Bank of Ghana has paused rate cuts at 14. Was the pause the right move, and what should we expect for monetary policy in the second half?
Okay, so thank you, Peter. I think that is in the right direction. I was expectant of this even before this meeting. I think that was in May when they held at 14. I was expectant of that, all at the back of, just like I mentioned earlier, right, the Middle East tensions. Right. And, Middle East tensions have driven oil prices upwards. Right. And so because of the inelasticity of oil, right, you cannot just see oil coming down when things or tension tame down. Right. So it comes down to affect our inflation numbers. Right. And so for Bank of Ghana to use the policy rate to, tame inflation and holding it at 14, I think is the right move. Yeah. Now, moving forward into, third quarter, fourth quarter, for me, I think that still the tensions are high. Yeah. There are some conversations that, the U.S. president and others are trying to say they are ending the war and all that, but you could still see there are some, tensions lurking around. So inflation could move back into the band, the medium-term band of 8 plus or minus 2 or the 6 to 10%. Right. If that is the case, then we should still see the policy rate being held at where it is. Because mind you, if it is held at that point, at least we know that borrowing costs will also be at the levels that they are. Right. If not, and we see that the risks are too high, we may have to inch up or contract the policy rate, which means that borrowing will go further high. And that will be at the cost of, the private sector where growth will not be seen. So I think that in the third quarter, fourth quarter, inflation will come back into the band ending in the year. But I'm hoping that the risks are not so high for an inch upward in the policy rate. Right. Yeah.
Now looking at the average lending rate, 16.3, it is still high. It means that when you go to the commercial banks to borrow, that 16.3% is still high. It means that the private sector, they are still suffering. Like you made mention of inflation is down, this is here, but it looks as though the private sectors are not okay with it, because 16.33 is a bit high.
Yes. So it's very high. It's not that it's very high, but let us not forget that we've come about less of last 2 years, which was sitting around 30% thereabout. Right. Okay, 25%. So it's coming down to 16. I think it's an improvement, right, even though it's high. So now what we have to do is that we have to try to have inflation sit within the single digits, right, okay, right, so that the policy rate can be eased further, because I think that the policy rate can be eased further down, at least about 200 basis points, so that we can come to about 12, because when you look at history and look at the numbers, when we had single digit in inflation, we got to see policy rates, hovering around 12, 14%. Right. So it means that there's still some space to come down. That is, if we are sure and we know that the external risk, which is the tensions, inflation, and then prices of crude oil will come down.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Professor Befi, Ghanaians want to find out that inflation is low. For the past 3 months, it started from 3.2, now we're at 5.3. It looks as though, like you rightly stated, that we are on track, we are doing well, but that is not translating into the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. So they want to know why.
It takes time. It takes time for macroeconomic policy and action to have an effect, a rippling effect through the economy. It takes time. So when inflation rate is low, you don't expect to have an immediate effect. It may take it may take time, because whatever production I have made now, when I produce at higher factor cost, you don't expect me to reduce it and sell at lower prices, because I need to cover that previous cost, get some margin. So when I go to the market and I see that factor cost has reduced, then my subsequent production, I'm going to reduce it. So people should be patient, because for macroeconomic policies, it takes time. Even identifying the problem, Carrigan and Solo found out that for recognition lag, to identify that there's a problem in an economy, it will take about 5 months for government to even recognize it. 5 months. Then you need to go through the other process of decision lag and all those things. So when it comes to macroeconomic effect on individuals' pockets, it takes time. And so let us be a little bit careful when we are trying to paint the picture. See, even though macroeconomic indicators are good, they are still not benefiting. It will take time. Let me quickly touch on the policy rates.
Right.
You know, in every economy, we have what is called liquidity trap. My friend in the studio was advocating that if the policy rate could come down to about 12%, there's a research that has shown that if the policy rate goes down to 12%, we may be entering into a liquidity trap zone where further cuts in policy rates would not have an effect on borrowing and lending. And so where it is now, I think it's appropriate, because if you are not careful and you go below 14%, you may be entering into the bracket of liquidity trap. And if we have a liquidity trap in the economy, that also comes with its own problem, because you have money sitting there, people are not ready to lend that money out. Or you will not have an effect, there will not be an effect of further reduction in the policy rate in the economy. So we need to work around research and be very careful the way we want to alter the policy rate. Because the Bank of Ghana has stressed that now whatever monetary policy activity they are undertaking is inflation targeting.
Right.
So if you're able to get inflation within a particular band, which does not hurt producers, consumers, and the likes, then we should be able to keep it. In some countries, inflation is about 2% and is healthy for an economy. In our case, if inflation drops to a certain level, it may even discourage production. So the production side of the economy may suffer at very, very low inflation. So we need to keep it within a certain band to encourage producers to produce and also not to burden consumers. And that is what I think the Bank of Ghana is trying, the central bank is trying to work around. So, yes, lower policy rate may sound very, very good. But if we are not careful below a certain point, we'll be entering into the realm of liquidity trap. And that may not help. That may not help the economy.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Let's now take a look at growth and sector performance. Real GDP growth is broadly on track at 4.8%, supported by manufacturing and good exports. One may ask, what about agriculture? Because when you look at the services sector, the information and communication, that is a plus of 25.2%, transport and storage, a plus of 13%, industry sector, that is mining and quarrying, 10.7%, oil and gas, plus 7%. And for agriculture, we are seeing some negatives, 18.5% inflation, accommodation, and what have you. One will ask, what about agriculture? What do you see from where you say?
Okay, let me repeat, and I'm going to repeat this on your network,
Right.
that when an economy is growing, the share of agricultural contribution becomes smaller and smaller. In the United States, for example, agriculture contributes 1% to the United States economy.
Right.
Apparently about 1% to the United States economy. All right?
Right.
But they are still able to produce enough to feed themselves into export. It is not, we don't have to place premium on the percentage share of agriculture. As a matter of fact, the percentage share of agriculture should keep on reducing for this economy.
Right.
But we should still be able to produce, to feed ourselves, and even to export. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying.
Yes,
My
please.
point is that as an economy is growing from an agrarian economy, moving to the industrial sector, to the service sector, over time, the share of agriculture to growth becomes smaller and smaller because the economy is growing out of the agrarian economy. But it doesn't mean that we should not be able to produce enough to feed ourselves. So, if agriculture can be 10,000, can worth 10,000 Ghana cedis now, its contribution can be about 30%. In the next period, agriculture can worth 20,000 Ghana cedis, but its contribution should fall to about 10%. So even though the total value is increasing, the contribution of agriculture to the share of the growth of the economy should keep on falling. For us to know that we are moving away from an agrarian economy into an industrial economy and into a service sector economy. That is how an economy grows. If we keep on worrying ourselves about the percentage share, but not the total value, then this economy cannot grow. I'm sorry to say, this economy cannot grow. The bottom line should be in the increasing value of the contribution, but in terms of percentage, that increasing value should even be falling. That's why I made an example that if you have 10,000 Ghana cedis and that is contributing 30%, and you have 20,000 Ghana cedis and that one is also contributing 10%, it is better to stay at 20,000 Ghana cedis at 10% than to stay at 10,000 Ghana cedis at 30%.
Right.
So if we are actually looking forward for this economy to grow, we should look at increasing the value of the agricultural production, but then try to consider reducing the share of the contribution of agriculture. Because in the United States, as I said, agriculture is making up 1%, but they are still able to produce to feed themselves and to export. So that we need to move away from an agrarian economy, from a subsistence economy, to a more industrial and service, because that is where the jobs are, especially in the industrial sector. The jobs are in the industrial sector. Even though agri sector may provide some jobs, the quantum of the jobs and the jobs that will ensure growth and development lies in the industrial sector. So if you're able to create more jobs in the industrial sector, that is where we say that we are heading towards growth and development. So let us not worry ourselves so much. I want to see the agricultural share reduce,
right,
but the value over time increases. That is better for this economy. So let's not make a lot of excuse my language, noise about the fact that agricultural share is reducing. No. It has to reduce in terms of its contribution to GDP. It has to reduce for us to know that we are moving away from the agrarian economy. But then the value in terms of production should keep on going up.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof. Please hold on. We'll come back to you. Mr. Nathan, any submission on Prof's submission so far?
Yes, so I think I'll slightly agree with Prof. We are yet to get to where Prof is talking about, where, as he cited an example, that 1% of 1% is contributing, of agriculture is contributing to the GDP. Sure. For data that I've seen, even recently, when the Ghana Statistical Service, churn out figures for trade within, Ghana and then the borders, we realized that there was a huge food deficit, and that deficit has actually increased. So what it means is that agriculture is a gray area. We need to look at agriculture very well. Right. We need to try to, just like he said at the part, that we need to produce the volumes that will be able to feed ourselves and then export. Right. It may be that the numbers will not be as what we intend to see, but maybe it will be a reduced contribution to GDP. Right. The most important thing for me here now is that agriculture should be able to produce for us so that we'll be food independent and be able to export. Because if you look at the rice industry, okay, rice is something that we eat each and every day in Ghana, but we are not able to even produce 70% of it. We import rice all the time, okay? So are we going to look at that area to be able to, produce more, create more jobs, and even add value, just like Prof is saying? So for me, I think where we are, we need to really pay attention to agric and then help agric to come a little up. Then maybe later, as we go into industrialization and all that, that play of what Prof is saying will come in. Yeah.
And so I also want to ask that from market and business angles, which areas show durable gains versus fragile ones? And how prudent does the overall fiscal stance appear for maintaining progress?
Okay, so with this, if I understand your question very well, are we looking at business sectors benefiting from this kind of growth? Yeah, so I have always been of the view that government should, allow private sectors to play out in some of these areas. Okay, so a way to help private sectors to play out in these, agriculture sector, services, industry, and all that, is to make, sustainable, productive policies. Okay, policies that will help them to establish, especially when you look at the cost of business in Ghana, when you take utilities, electricity and water is very high. Especially electricity is one of the highest in the sub-Saharan region. Okay, and so if government is to do something about that, then it means that the cost of business will come lower. People can come in, the taxes and all that, for private sectors, can come lower. The cost of borrowing can also come lower. And in fact, some of these things, it doesn't happen just in a day. It doesn't happen in just 2 years, 3 years. We actually need a long-term approach. And we need something that we finance professionals will say, patient capital from patient investors. So we should have people who have the long-term view, long-term approach to investing and the economy to bring in these kind of capital, and government support them with policies so that they can benefit from these whole areas, because we are yet to really, benefit from the high potential of these sectors. Yeah.
So before I go back to Prof, I would like to find out how are these gains actually translating into job creation and the likes. We've seen these economic gains, but it looks as though they are not translating into employment and what have you. Even though it's barely half of the year, but we are not seeing it translating into jobs.
Yes, so I think that a growth in such sectors also means that there have been more production. And if there have been more production, it means that there is either people are employed more or we are using technology to produce more. I don't have the numbers for that kind of impact where there's more jobs in services sector or industrial or agriculture. But I think all in all, these impact us in a way, because if you are able to produce more in, let's say, service sector, it means that more money has come into that area. And so those who work in those areas should be able to be compensated in terms of, revenue.
Right.
So if that is done, then it means that it has actually impacted that person or that citizen who works in the sector. It means that more money has come to the pocket. He can, do other things, spend more and all that. So if that is done, I think that is where we really see the impact. Because I don't have the numbers, I can't really touch specifics on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Mr. Nathan. I'll come back to you. Hello, Prof.
Hello.
We are also, worried in terms of the sector performance, the services sector, as we made mention of earlier, that information and communication, had the largest share. And that means that people are asking, how can we translate this actually into job creation to give employment to the youth? Taking a look at technology and looking at us back here in Ghana, when it comes to technology, we are now trying our best. And here lies the case, most of, as the service sector, it is the information and communication that give us the huge number, 25.2%. So they are asking, how can we translate this into job creation, taking into consideration the gap?
Okay, I'll answer that question, but let me give you some numbers to explain my point well. Then I'll quickly jump to that. In the United States, the value of agriculture, that 1% is $325.4 billion United States dollars. That's the value. In Ghana, our 20% is 17.59 billion. Yes, of course, you cannot compare the economy of US and Ghana, but that is the picture I want to create. This economy, the structure of this economy is sick. And I keep on saying that it is sick. And the politicians have not made any efforts. There has been some effort in the past, but unfortunately, we didn't sustain the effort. And economic progress grows from agricultural sector, then industrial sector to the service sector. In our case, if you look at the data, we have grown from the agricultural sector, jumped the industrial sector, and straight to the service sector. That's a sick economy. Okay, the Europe and US had to progress through these lines to ensure development. In our case, we jumped. So from the agriculture sector, instead of we concentrating on the industrial sector and building the industrial sector, for some reason we jumped into the service sector, and now the service sector is more or less having a larger share of the economy, and that is the one that is trying to create jobs. And you see, that is why previous governments are now shifting to TVET education as a means of job creation, because the sector, that middle sector, the industrial sector that could have created jobs, forward linkage and backward linkage between the agricultural sector and the service sector has failed completely. And so now that the economy is tilted towards the industrial sector, we are all now encouraging TVET education and all that as a means of creating jobs. And telecommunication as a means of creating jobs. It's not a bad thing, but if you have a structure that is fake like this, I don't see how we can develop as a country. The NPP government started one nation, one factory, and I thought it was the best alternative to revolutionize the industrial sector. So that if subsequent government had continued, we would have a very strong industrial sector. So when the agricultural sector is now decreasing, the share of the component will then move to the industrial sector. And after a certain point, we expect the service sector to take over. Now we are not getting it like that. And so that is a huge problem we are still grappling with. Then the service sector, yes, telecommunication is, and because of the fact that it is technology driven,
Right.
We have no option than to look to telecommunication as a means of job creation. So all these mobile money, individuals and all that, yes, it is good that it is creating jobs. But what is the value of the job creation in the telecommunication sector? If somebody works in an industry, you are sure of a certain income level if the person is working in an industry that is producing consistent goods and services. In the service sector, if somebody is employed in MTN or any of these telecommunications, the person is assured of a certain income level. What if somebody is doing mobile money? What will be the income level of such an individual? So even in the service sector, we create huge income disparity between those who are in the mainstream service sector and those who find themselves in the periphery. One thing we have not been able to take cognizance of in the service sector is the construction industry.
Right.
That is one thing we have not been able to take important view of, because apart from the fact that the telecommunication sector is giving us some leverage, the industrial sector, the construction industry, the housing sector has a role to play. And you see, the 2008 financial crisis that came up, it started from the housing industry. So it means that the housing industry also has a major contribution. But we have kind of ignored the housing sector. We are not giving so much attention to the housing sector because maybe we don't know the value we have, the value it can create for us. It has a lot of potential. In fact, it employs a lot of people, both formal and informal. When there's a construction project going on, apart from the fact that the main workers, the people who are supplying those materials, people who are selling by the roadside, it has a huge impact on an economy. But we have forgotten about it. One of my worrying parts in the service sector is wholesale and retail. The wholesale and retail sector is growing in the service sector. But the problem is that the goods we are wholesaling and retailing are not produced by the industrial sector. They are produced by external people that we import. That is why I said that the economy is sick. If a wholesale and retail sector has a certain percentage of the economy, and we are not producing enough, to feed the wholesale and retail sector, and that all the goods we are wholesaling and retailing are goods from China and US, that is a huge problem. Because that sector should thrive on the industrial sector. But in this case, we have an industrial sector that is not doing well, but we have a wholesale and retail sub-sector in the service sector that is doing well. Yeah. So where are the goods we are wholesaling and retailing? Where are they coming from? And you see, the point is that even in the industrial sector, mining activity takes a chunk of the industrial sector. So the actual production of goods in the economy does not even exist. These are the problems I expect our leaders to have a look at and tackle the issue if we want to ensure growth and development. It has only been politics and cheap talk. Politics and cheap talk. And so even the service sector that you say that is doing well has its own internal problems.
Right.
We have ignored the real estate activity that is supposed to ensure that it can actually help the economy to grow a little bit faster. We have ignored that one. We are concentrating on wholesale and retailing. Sometimes you talk about these things. If you are not careful, you will end up speaking against someone.
Right.
So I think I have to try and manage myself well. But these are the actual problems we are facing as an economy. Right. And if we are going to actually concentrate on these issues, I think it will help.
Right. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the budget we read are not tackling the problems, the fundamental problems. From years out, the budgets are not tackling the fundamental problems. So then you ask us, where are we going as a country?
Right.
I rest my case.
Thank you very much. Your point is well established. And then to add up to what you made mention of the housing. So the data here about cost of living drivers, we have non-food inflation, which stood at 68.5% of overall, and that is led heavily by transport and then housing. And so before I let you go, what are your key expectations ahead of the 2 p.m. Presentation by the Finance Minister?
Yeah, so I expect government to review the revenue performance, put in measures to actually show up our revenue. Whatever they are doing at the expenditure side, they are doing quite well. I expect them to stay disciplined. Public debt should be well managed. The IMF program, I know we are not out of the wood yet. They are still trying to guide us. I think government should take a look at it. The exchange rate development is another point. We don't have time, because if you are using foreign currencies to keep our exchange rate without us having appropriate long-term plan, I don't know how long we can continue with this policy. Right. The long-term plan is for us to start producing and exporting to make our exchange, to ensure that our exchange rate is stabilized, and not to go and fetch money from somewhere and use to stabilize our exchange rate. That is a short-term plan. And it looks like the short-term plan is now becoming a long-term plan. The short-term plan of using monies to stabilize our exchange rate is now becoming a long-term plan. So in the long term, we don't have any plan to stabilize our exchange rate. That's a problem. That's a problem. The problem of this economy is so big. Anytime we talk about it, you don't seem to finish. The cocoa sector, please, let us take a look at the cocoa sector. Let us release money and pay our cocoa farmers. Right. I want to see something in this budget. I don't know whether they have been paid. The last time I heard that the chief executive officer is saying that they have released an amount of money. You ask the cocoa farmers, they are saying they have not received their money. I don't know who is even telling the truth now. Right. Right. Mining and gold, that one, I will give it to this government. Of course, the gold board did not start with them, but the way they have been able, they are trying to manage the situation around gold issues in Ghana. It's fair. Social intervention programs. The last time I heard on the news that the free SHS policy, right, the double track, has not been postponed to 2029. That is not what they promised us. They didn't promise us 2029. They should do something about it, because that is not what they promised. They should have known the numbers before they promised. Okay. Employment is a huge problem in Ghana, and I have a solution. You see, if you cannot give the people employment, put in policies and let's export human capital. All the doctors and teachers and nurses we have trained, that government is not able to absorb them. Let us have a policy and let's start exporting them. That is another means of getting of raising our revenue, because they are really not being absorbed in the economy, and we keep on producing more. Even the nurses, I don't know which the last date we had to employ these nurses, right, but let us go back and look at how we can export because they are living anyway. The nurses are living anyway. They are living to US and Canada and all those countries. If they have deficits, we can supply them with nurses and take some amount so that will help us. I mean, we can even use that to train more teachers and lawyers.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof.
So we can look at that. If we are able to give them employment, right, let us see how we can start by exporting this human capital.
Right.
External sectors, government may not be able to do a lot about US fighting with some other people. Right. But we need to build enough foreign reserves to cushion ourselves. For as long as we have external forces driving this economy, we cannot overlook it.
Right. Thank you very much.
I expect government, there are a number of things, but I expect government to quickly address some of these issues. And I want to see a definite plan of moving the economy from just growth to development.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your time with us this morning. We wish we can have you in the studio one of these days so we can talk extensively about the economy. Thank you very much. Professor Joseph Ntwibefi is the head of economics department at the University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development. Thank you for your time with us this morning. Now back to you, Mr. Layton. Before I ask any question, do you have any submission with regards to Prof's,
Okay, so I think that I'm very much aligned with what Prof is saying. Right. And then, I mean, for the fact that Prof mentions that it's a fake economy, I mean, some way, somehow I align with him because it's so much interesting to see how you jump from, I mean, an agrarian economy, you jump industry, right, and then you move to services. Right. I mean, that is a fluke there. You need to have value being added to the agrarian economy. And that's why I would mention that maybe we'll get there, but we have not gotten there yet. Sure. We need to produce for ourselves to be sustainable. We need to produce and add value, okay? And adding value is where the industry comes in. Right. You get it. So adding value like maybe a cocoa sector, you produce it, adding value into a chocolate or something, right, and that is where the industry, will play out, create more jobs. Right. And so therefore you tackle your job issues. Then we move into a sector services area where we can also produce more jobs with technology and AI, on the rise. Right.
Thank you very much. And so, so we are coming to the end of the show. I don't know if there are some aspect you want to touch on before I take your expectations for the impending budget review. Okay, so I think Prof mentioned one of them. He said that we should look at the cocoa sector. Right. What is happening there is something that we should really pay attention to. Right. Cocoa once a very great, asset to us. Right. Now we are finding funding issues and all that. But I know that the CEO is doing something good over there, and I hope the government helps him to, find ways of, funding and all that. The other part is the energy sector. The energy sector is something that I don't know, but recently Zambia, did this kind of program where more like they exchange, some of their resources for more production in that area so that they could be on the light and produce more and grow the economy. Yeah. I thought it was a very innovative and brilliant idea. Yeah. I don't know what we are doing to pay off all those kind of debt in that area. How are we positioning ECG, to be able to take all our revenues for us, hit their target and all that. Then the next one maybe will be the gold board initiative. We've had previous governments looking at gold for oil. And then now we come this time and then it is, gold board. Yes, brilliant ideas, but these are branch solutions. Okay, right. These are branch solutions. And so the branch solutions, means that we are not actually tackling the roots. Just like Prof said, we need to produce and export. And that is where the FX will come in to support the city. Right. If you don't do that and you are doing this branch solution, and mind you, the gold board is actually, for me as a finance and investment person, right, I see a concentration risk there. Because it's only gold board who is trying to support the city. Can we diversify? Right. Can we look at tourism? Can we look at agriculture and exporting so that we diversify so much in the economy so that we know that if gold prices drop right now, because gold prices have dropped from about $5,000 per ounce to about $4,032. You see, if it drops further, our reserves value will decrease, and are we going to get more money to show up our city? Right. No. If we diversify, that is where we'll be able to get in more FX to support the city, and that will not trigger into inflation. Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin Layton Ochiri, for that submission there. And before I actually end the show, I want to find out if you have any last submission, maybe you have a project or something coming up that you want viewers to know, or maybe your area of expertise that you want viewers to know. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm an associate chartered member of the Chartered Investment and Securities Institute UK, and what I do is to help people to plan their finances, invest very well, and then talk about economic issues. I write articles in BNFT and all that. I have
a page that I write articles on economics, pensions, and all that. So that's what I do. And I expect the finance minister to be able to sustain these gains and stay disciplined. Right. I think these will be my last words.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin Nathan Ochre, Chief Financial Analyst and Advisor, for your time with us this morning. We really appreciate it. And we are hoping to see you after the budget today, God willing, on Tuesday.
Sure.
We're hoping to see you for another analysis. And this has been a discussion on setting the benchmark expectations for the 2026 mid-year budget review. And you heard from our experts, the economists and the financial analysts, giving us, explanations into the micro, economic indicators and the inflation, how that is supposed to translate to help the ordinary Ghanaian. And they actually told us that we need time. It will take time. And then in terms of their expectations, they made mention of reviewing the, revenue performance, the IMF program, the Gold Board initiative, Koko sector program, and free SHs and many other initiatives. I know that you at home also have your expectations as well. And then we'll come back to your screens again, God willing, on Tuesday to do the analysis of the figures, what will transpire in Parliament today. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. I am Peter, and I want to seize the opportunity to say thank you to my producers, Eunice Amowusu, Edna Yaboa Boatin, and the production team, MCR Graphics, and a special thank you to Godfred Edem Kudowo. And today happens to be Clement Yabankwe. I call him Boss. Clement Yabankwe, today is your birthday. Thank you very much for everything. I really appreciate you a lot. May God bless you. And this is how we end the business update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Up next is a special interview with Accra Academy, and Yaira will be on your screen very soon after this.
Back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for us to engage our very own Blelbi. Yes, the Blelbi are not strangers to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and today we have Blelbi Ahmed Habib Ibrahim, and he is the Blel 2004 year group secretary, and he's here to share with us some information about an event that's upcoming. So I'm sure you can see behind me, yes, a commissioning ceremony. So let's get right into that. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Yaira.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, you completed school 2004.
Yes, sir. 22 years ago.
22 years ago, wow.
By the grace of God.
Yes, we thank you. Where was I in 2004? Lower primary, anyway. So I hear you have an event coming up, as we can see on the screen, actually, an official commissioning of the Accra Academy Media Center. And you mentioned backstage that it's part of your legacy project. So if you can shed some more light on that for us.
Okay, so we completed school some 22 years ago, obviously. And as a year group, we decided to come together to hatch out a few possible ways we could help the school as a way of giving back, you know, after completing school. And then a few ideas were tossed up here and there, and we eventually settled on the fact that we needed to bridge the digital divide between academia and then industry, as well as offer, you know, a very seamless platform to students and the general public who would eventually be able to use the facility, you know, to bridge more of that gap that was left for all this while, so that we can have students that are very tech savvy, are able to, you know, make use of ICT facilities, and also be able to have a one-stop shop to have all our media engagements and other media-related stuff done in the school without having to go outside of the school to get those. And so these and a few other things culminated in the reason why we decided as a year group to go ahead and get the media center established. And yeah, that's where we're at the moment.
Okay, that's beautiful. So Accra Academy's alumni are trying to make their school a state-of-the-art institution. This is a call to action for all of us alumni of other schools and other institutions to also try our best to get our schools up there, up and coming. And I mean, kudos to you and your year group. And I know that Accra Academy also turned about 95 years recently. What's that also about? How is the celebration going to be like?
Okay, so thank you very much. We turned 95 on the 20th of July, this very past Monday. And we had a series of lectures at the school, and I was part of that lecture, fortunately. And part of the thing we're organizing is we're having a float, you know, on the 15th of August. We're having other series of activities that are lined up, culminating eventually in November, where we'll be having our dinner to commemorate the 95th anniversary proper. And so that is going to be, you know, a few of the things we'll be doing. And then hopefully we're gunning up slowly towards our 100th anniversary, which is happening in 5 years. And so this is just a few of the things that we're putting in place to make sure that we celebrate our alma mater properly.
Okay, you know? That's beautiful. I love seeing alumni, you know, showing love to their schools, even after some of us we don't have no affiliations towards our schools anymore. But this is really beautiful. And I would like to ask, what was the brain behind the media center? I mean, I know that technology is the new thing in town now, but aside that, is there any other reason for choosing a media center? Okay,
so for us, branding and PR and IT are very key and central. So you realize that oftentimes you'd want to dig out information about a particular institution, and then their website is as ancient as 1900.
Right.
And so you go down and you realize C in bracket 1920 something, 2000 and some. So for us, one opportunity to have that one-stop shop in the school where we could have everything media, you know, come together in one as a one-stop shop thing, and also further expose our students to the world of technology and AI, because I mean, you and I know that we're in an age where technology isn't bliss anymore. You know, you are not excused from not knowing this, that, or the other. And so for us, you know, that coupled with other reasons, you know, came together for us to sit back as old students and then decide that, okay, out of the numerous things we can put together or do, this is what we feel or felt was apt, you know, as a commemorative legacy project for the 2004 year group. Yes, being reason why we decided on the media center, which will also be open to the public anyway, you know, under a structured system.
Okay, that's nice. So coming to the launch, can you give us some details, very key details, so that those of us who would like to come in celebrate affiliatory celebrations,
Okay, so thank you very much. I'm really pumped up. I'm seriously pumped up. So it's happening this Saturday.
Okay.
At 12:30, we will have the headmaster, Mr. Eric Ebose, whom we are very grateful for. We have Awoba Global President, Mr. Amwa Iwa Amwa, who would also be there as a very symbolic gesture to help us do the unveiling. And it will be happening at the Kofi George Konwa Assembly Hall, who happens to be one of the 4 founders of Accra Academy. We have KG Konwa, JN Hamado, Awolete, and then Naku Alema.
Okay, so I see the images in your
Yes. The 4 of them came together, to start it in a house called Ellen House in 1931 in Jamestown, Old British Accra. So, the hall is named after one of the pioneers of Accra Academy. So that's where it would start.
Okay, so this Saturday, 12:30.
12:30.
So are we allowed to come dressed anyhow we like, or we need to, sew the clothes?
Please come.
Or come in your colors?
Please come.
Mercy.
We're wearing our 20th anniversary Lacoste.
Okay.
So all students of Accra Academy 2004 year group will be wearing our Lacoste, 20th anniversary Lacoste. This is just because I'm coming to sit on your beautiful show this morning.
Okay.
That's what we'll be wearing on Saturday, and then we'll come in our numbers, and come and do justice to the commissioning.
Right. So what are some of the activities lined up for the launch, aside the commissioning, obviously?
Okay, so we're basically going to have some kind of a background story told by the old students who will be available, and then after we go have a facility tour, and then we cut the sword, and then we'll do what Ghanaians usually like to the item 13.
Okay.
After that. And then for most of us who haven't seen each other in over 2 decades, it's an opportunity for us to also do some tete-a-tete and share some brotherhood conversations and all of that. So it will be a very interesting commissioning, I can promise you, on Saturday.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. So, yes, as alumni, obviously, it's almost as though there's a need for you to pay your respects or do something, give back to your school as CSR duty. So I'd like you to touch on that a little. Maybe some people may not necessarily feel the need to, but I mean, considering Accra Academy, the Presegs, the Mobas and Santas, they tend to do that a lot. So if you can shed some light on that and maybe even encourage someone watching that you should be part of your alumni in trying to help the school however you can.
Thank you very much. So for me, an old student's body that doesn't give back to its school is really a downer. There's a downer too, because you see, there's a reason why you go through the school. And so if the school is able to take you through a certain, curriculum to give you knowledge, it's just fair and proper that you come together, and give something back to the school.
Right.
Just to show appreciation. So for us, it's very symbolic and it's very traditional for us as old students to want to give back. And we have several other year groups of the school that are doing fantastic stuff. Some are renovating classrooms. We have some that are putting up, fantastic administration buildings, new ones. Where there's actually conversations towards rebuilding a much bigger assembly hall.
Okay.
That is going to take almost about 2,500 capacity of students because the student population is growing.
Yeah,
and so there's an increasing need to also have that consideration in mind. So for me, I would want to appeal to every old student, Accra Academy, wherever, to try and come together. And it all starts with having a strong alumni body. That is the basis of all of that. Once you don't have a strong alumni body, really and truly, how do you then come together to galvanize support to make sure that you're getting something out of the way or underway? And so for me, it's about getting a strong alumni. We have a strong alumni body with our president being Dr. David Papomingo, who is a medical doctor based in China. And then I happen to be the secretary. We have great executives, great alumni members doing fantastic things all over the world. And so that is one of the reasons why I think we have been able to come together and galvanize support and be able to do what we'll be doing, hopefully this Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's lovely. So are there any special guests we should look at? I mean, I think Kiddy is a Bleo B, right?
Yeah,
so will Kiddy be passing through just in case some of us want to see?
Yeah, we've reached our far, right?
Okay.
And so we're hopefully looking forward to seeing everybody else who attaches themselves to the Blau fraternity to really be there. Because on that day as well, as I told you before we got into the studio, we're having the 2016 year group also admitted into the Aoba fraternity after 10 years of being away from school. And so it's going to be like a double banger kind of a thing happening. And so as much as possible, we're also using this opportunity to reach out to all Blau B all over, who can make it within the short, period of, announcing this whole thing, to come and really be with us and support, because it's about supporting somebody for the person to also support you at the end of the day when you're also doing yours. And so it's not necessarily about the 2004 thing. Everybody who feels connected to Bleu, one way or the other, and it's a Bleu B, should try and come and support, including Geese.
Please, we are Aquinas, we support.
We have our Marie's girls also coming.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Maybe we will come so that we can try and strike up some love.
Please come. All
right. So looking ahead, what are some of the things you hope to also see in the school, and also for your alumni body, incorporate into helping the school?
Okay, so first and foremost, we're looking at seeing an enriched student body, because one of the things that every school likes to, work on is the quality of students they get, because once you begin to take a certain number of students, you're also looking at facility expansion, which is something that is, on the table of the headmaster. So we're looking forward to a lot more partnerships with the school, where we've adopted their website officially. Okay. So the 2004 year group has adopted the website of the school, and we're going to make sure it's as current and as modern as possible, such that people find real-time information on there and not just skeletons when they go. And so that's something we've adopted already. We've already had that chat with the headmaster and he's approved it. We're also looking forward to having some major deals with the school, but all of these are in the pipeline and would, drop them as snippets.
As and when they come. Okay. Yes. So in a minute, I'm giving you the opportunity to encourage people to join you on Saturday. That's the 25th of July, so that we can all come in down.
Yeah, look here.
Yeah, here.
Look here.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Yaira, for the fantastic opportunity, and all our stakeholders who have made this possible. Bleubi Ahmed Habib Ibrahim, 2004 Year Group Secretary, is appealing to all and sundry, be it, folks that attended Accra Academy or anybody else who has really supported the Accra Academy Bleu brand, to be available this Saturday, 25th of July at 12:30 p.m. to help us with our 2004 commemorative legacy project, which is the Media Bleu B 2004 Media Center that we're commissioning. And we ask that you come in your numbers, support us to make the day a very beautiful day. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Bleubi Ahmed Habib Ibrahim,
yes,
right? Yes, it's tongue twister, but I got it. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you on the 25th of July for the commissioning ceremony of the Accra Academy Media Center. Please do join them. Let's go and jam. I'm calling out to the Agis, Aquinas alumni, Mary's alumni, and also the Bleubi. Let's go and have some fun. Let's strike up the rivalry again. And this brings us to the end of the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you bright and early on Tuesday morning. Do have an amazing weekend ahead.
Thank you.